Alright, listen up. I need to address the ABE community because there's a lot of nonsense going on with Alin's drama, and it's gone way too far. Here's the deal, it seems like everyone's choosing sides and they're out to get this guy. I've already tried talking some sense into people, but things keep spiraling out of control. People are picking sides back and forth, and honestly it feels like some of them are just playing games with it, either stirring the pot or messing around with the situation. I don't care how long this has been going on, but here's the problem. If anyone tries to bring this mess into our space by reuniting old friends or reigniting old conflicts, they might have to face me and others like me, one by one if it comes down to it. None of us want to see this kind of chaos unfold. Anyway, I'm here to expose Alin's imposter account because something big is brewing over on Discord. During a debate with Silver, we came across some information and I'm ready to show you what I found. So let's take a look at the video I recorded. Here we are, look what we found. It's Lexty, better known as Jerry, who's being sick fuck gaslighting asshole who came into this server. Pretending to be Alin, and I did catch him before he left the server. Yeah, he is just a troll, but still he is considered Alin's imposter, who is a goddamn pedophile. Even though I don't take any sides in this situation, doesn't mean that I would be siding with someone for bad things. There has to be another way to keep everyone safe or separate them from this type of situation. Okay, here it is. That's a guy who pretends to be Alin. I still had his user and number instead of his username. Because he might gonna change his profile and his username, and I might gonna have everyone report it to Discord teams such as giving feedback about how this disgusting weirdo is. And to be honest, I don't trust anyone who's involved in this, not unless if they had evidence for it. So let's see this fucking conversation. Anyway, this motherfucker seems to be playing up jokes. I don't know if Jerry is a grown-ass fucking man who's behind a keyboard, behind the computer monitor, who goes out of his way and starts some bullshit with people, in order to frame Alin for everything. Jerry, I don't know who the fuck you are and where you from, but making that type of joke's still gonna get your Discord account banned. If you add anything that makes a fucking sense, then either just provide some screenshots or move the fuck on. Let's see here. So Alin just sent a voice message. Let's see what he has to say.
Anyways, watch my fucking truth, and the imposter accounts who try to pretend to be me, and the Russian woman who posts what she wants on YouTube for her own benefit. Anyways, have the link. And don't complain about my blog post, please.
So, Alin shared one of his old screenshots explaining the bullshit about these people who've been impersonating him and using his name for jokes and offensive memes. Even worse, they might have used Discord bots to create fake screenshots, straight up violating Discord's terms of service. Honestly, I don't give a shit about what they're doing in the Angry Birds Epic Discord server. But still, they can't be forgiven for this crap taking sides instead of respecting people's rights to free speech.
Dude, you have 30 seconds to give up on pretending to be me, or I destroy all the artists' art that they made.
Zegarus, you and the rest of you assholes are the ones who started this bullshit. If you're part of the so-called ABE community or any other Discord group trying to hide the truth, then guess what? Your communities would have already fallen apart because of how disgusting you all are sharing NSFW stuff like anime crap in front of kids. And yeah, a group of commentators is already lining up to expose you for grooming. This shit could get way worse for you, like ending up in prison for that predatory behavior. And let me make one thing clear, if your jokes falsely accuse someone or damage their reputation, like implying they're criminals or some other twisted shit, that's defamation, plain and simple. So keep digging your own grave. We do have a right to bring this drama down back to their own grave. If you are those type of people, then you wouldn't be on here in the first place.
Can you tell me actually what's the point of the artist making a shit up and the followers to cheating to naive users that they can draw or the characters fiction are at a random age? Also, I just found the manipulator of the whole shit on me back in 2021.
Alin, you need to relax. If you don't want people attacking you or sending you hate, then consider moving your YouTube channel. Those people causing trouble for you are just stirring up unnecessary drama. And without your channel, the situation might settle down on its own for once. Even if you try to be friends with them, it's pointless to trust them. They'll backstab you the moment it benefits them. I know you have autism, but don't use that as an excuse to justify naive decisions. Stay sharp. Don't be distracted.
Clowny must know that an imposter account of me just threatened the entire reputation of me.
The Clowny isn't the real problem here. Honestly, the best thing you can do is block and ignore him. Don't give him any more attention than he's already taken. He's done enough damage by dragging this situation further into chaos. If he hadn't meddled in your drama, the idiots in the ABE community might have just put aside their differences and moved on by now. But thanks to his interference, things have only escalated unnecessarily. Don't let his nonsense distract you from what actually matters.
To be honest, I have her contact. She said that he doesn't agree with a lot of people from Discord. But Persaud says that Cole attacked him. He joined me on Facebook or Instagram.
Persaud is never going to give you a fair chance no matter what you might think. Even if you put trust in him, it's clear he's not someone worth believing in. In the toxic ABE community, they'll only make things worse for you. They've already proven they'll stoop low, like creating disgusting alt accounts of you with anime pictures just to mock you. It's only going to drag you down further. For your own peace of mind, it's better to cut ties with them and stay far away.
Next day, dude. Or never. Instead of you guys forgetting the past and thinking that I'm a creep without any proof, just tell me on VC the things before I end to close my account again.
The best thing you can do, Alin, is distance yourself from those people and get the help you need. Associating with them will only drag you into their chaos, and you don't deserve to deal with their stupidity. These people may think they can hide in the shadows, but I've already gathered solid evidence against those disgusting pieces of shit. Whether this is about the past or something that might happen in the future, one thing is clear. The ABE community and any other Angry Birds Discord servers needs to change. Respect for one another should be the norm, not constant harassment and sending direct messages to attack people. While they might try to pull these stunts outside the servers, I will let the others contact moderators or owners of their servers to ensure they're aware of the wrongdoings. If people like Cole are involved in doxing or threatening others, they should face the consequences, including jail if necessary. It doesn't matter how many alt accounts they create, they need to step out of this mess and stop interfering. The toxicity is something no one should have to endure. Protect yourself and stay out of their reach, right? And speaking of evidence, you can skip the video if you wish to see things that I have captured, the screenshots from my other Discord server, where I was debating with your ex-friend Silver, so you can see what others are doing during the conversation.
And in conclusion, I have the screenshots of the guy who tried to impersonate me again. Anyways, I will make a response video to that crap. Everyone have a going.
The following screenshots that Alin posted show some of the imposter accounts of Alin, with anime profiles pretending to be him and making him look like an idiot. These fake accounts are spewing disgusting shit like that Jerry person. But guess what? It turns out those accounts were created by some of the weirdos in the toxic ABE community. These bastards think they can pull this crap and not get caught, but they're wrong. They're never escaping the mess they've made. If I ever find the person pretending to be someone I know, I'm not just sitting back and letting it slide. I'll track them down, rip off the fake nickname, and reveal the real username. Whoever's behind this shit is probably pissing themselves, thinking they can just hide by deleting messages or leaving servers. That won't save them. Discord logs everything, and I'll have their user ID ready to report when they inevitably start crying like the cowardly bitch they are. And let me tell you, if this person thinks they can stir drama and walk away unscathed, they've got another thing coming. I'll expose every disgusting trick they've tried to pull, both here and to my sub-base. If they're so bold to act tough online, then they better be ready for the backlash when the truth comes out. And let's talk about Jerry for a second. That brain-dead clown has the audacity to obsess over anime and act like he's some kind of big deal, all while being attracted to minors. Let me make this clear. That makes him a fucking pedo. There's no sugarcoating that kind of disgusting behavior. This isn't some harmless trolling. It's the kind of shit that ruins lives and brings communities down. If this guy thinks he's above the law or accountability, then it's only a matter of time before reality smacks him in the face. Alin, don't let these lowlifes drag you down. Block, report, and move forward. Let them choke on their own toxicity while we focus on dismantling the bullshit they've built. Together, we'll make sure their lies and harassment don't have a leg to stand on. But this doesn't mean we're friends again. I'm only doing this for the sake of everyone else who's caught up in this mess. Let's be clear, the trust isn't magically restored, and it probably never will be. Those people from the ABE community have already proven they don't deserve it. They've burned every bridge with their lies, manipulation, and toxic behavior. Even when given chances to make things right, they've chosen to double down and make things worse. If they want to start a fight, they need to know they're playing a dangerous game. They think they can keep pulling their bullshit, hiding behind fake screenshots and false narratives, but the truth has a funny way of coming out. When it does, it won't just expose them, it'll obliterate their credibility completely. People aren't as gullible as they think, and once the real story is out there, no one will fall for their lies again. And don't think for a second that their fake screenshots or manipulated evidence will hold any weight. I've seen this play out too many times before. They spread their fabrications, hoping people will believe it at face value, but when you dig even a little deeper, it all falls apart. Screenshots can be faked, narratives can be twisted, but actual evidence, that's something they can't fabricate, and it's something I'm not afraid to use against them if it comes to that. This isn't about revenge or petty squabbles, it's about making sure they don't get away with the damage they've caused. They've torn apart communities, spread lies, and attacked anyone who dared to stand up to them. Enough is enough. If they want to continue down this path, they'd better be ready to face the consequences. Exposing their behavior isn't just an option, it's a necessity to protect everyone else from falling into their traps. So, let this be a warning to them. The games they're playing won't end in their favor. They can't keep hiding behind their fake personas, false evidence, and empty threats. Eventually their entire house of cards will come crashing down, and when it does, I'll make sure the truth is loud enough for everyone to hear.
If this shit is dead, then why do you guys talk about my blog? A bunch of words that I don't accept. And about my truth about me that, I deep regret, but I feel still hated. Still going to the therapist, and this is how I get resolved?
Listen, just don't trust them. They'll twist your words, stab you in the back, and manipulate everyone around them, especially those they call friends. Nobody deserves to deal with that kind of toxic nonsense. Do you know why they do it? Because they thrive on picking sides, stirring up drama, and creating chaos for their own entertainment. It's all just a game to them. Look at what happened to Wade. Also known as Liz Pig. And it's not just unfair, it's downright cruel. What makes this worse is that the ABE community as a whole is complicit in this behavior. They don't care who gets hurt as long as they have someone to gang up on. Wade tried to reconcile and was met with betrayal. If you've seen how they've started to fall apart, turning on each other and causing chaos, you'd know there's no one to blame but themselves. Keep this in mind. People like that aren't worth your trust or your time. They thrive on dragging others down, but eventually they'll collapse under the weight of their own lies and drama. Focus on those who genuinely support you. Let the ABE community deal with the mess they've created, because at this rate it's only a matter of time before it all blows up in their faces.
I said next day. Now she's sleeping. What do you don't understand?
You know why they're so fucking impatient? It's because they're complete idiots who can't handle taking things one step at a time. They're either rushing to stir up more bullshit drama or trying to slap some half-assed conclusion on everything just to make themselves look good. They don't care about fixing anything. All they care about is saving their own asses. People like that don't think. They don't stop to reflect or realize the damage they've done. Instead, they double down on their stupidity, acting like the victims while screwing over anyone who gets in their way. That's exactly why this shitstorm keeps spiraling out of control. They feed off of chaos and manipulation. It's no wonder they've dragged the ABE community into this mess. All they do is talk shit behind people's backs, play the blame game, and push others to pick sides. They don't care about friendships or loyalty. They just want power over the narrative, even if it means destroying everything in their path. Wade or Liz Pig got caught up in their toxic games too. He tried to make amends, tried to talk things out, and what did he get? A slap in the face. Being called a weirdo, insulted, blocked, and banned from every platform. That's the kind of petty backstabbing crap they thrive on, and then they have the nerve to pretend they're in the right? Fuck that. Let me tell you something. No one who treats people like this deserves any respect. They want to make you miserable. They want you to feel like you're the problem, when in reality, they're the toxic fuckers ruining everything. Keep this in mind. They're not worth your time, trust, or energy. Eventually their lies and bullshit will catch up to them, and they'll be left with nothing but the mess they created. Let them destroy themselves. If they want to be desperate for attention towards me, then let them have it. My sub-base will deal against their stupidity. As long as if they were trying to be a pain in the ass, then they would have their lesson learned from their fucking mistakes.
And I forgot to say, if an artist do what he wants with his life on the internet, he doesn't face the consequence, but his fans, yes. In conclusion, the artists deserve more blame than the fans. That's what is my cousin told me. The creators of that crappy thing deserve the blame than the fans. Anyways, Lebos, try to hunt down the imposter who tried to disguise as me. And Magnus, call the imposters out. Anyone have a response video?
Yeah, right. But the ABE community can't just walk away from this like they're innocent. Not everyone in the community, of course. But those snakes hiding in the shadows, the ones who pretend they've done nothing wrong while fanning the flames of every goddamn fight, those people, they're a problem. Here's the deal. They need to stop acting like they're untouchable and start owning up to their bullshit. Where's the proof? If someone in that group is stirring the pot, then there should be evidence. Logins, screenshots, conversations, anything. How many of them are using burner accounts, spamming hate on social media from their browser or phones, while sitting back like puppeteers controlling the chaos? If even one of them admits to it, then it's time for consequences. You don't get to screw people over and then act all holier than thou when it backfires. If you're caught red-handed, you deserve every bit of backlash coming your way. And let's not forget, accountability works both ways. If they're so confident they've done nothing wrong, they should step the fuck up and prove it. But they won't, because they know the second they're exposed, their lies fall apart. And don't even get me started on the enablers, the ones who stay silent while watching everything burn. Silence doesn't make you neutral, it makes you complicit. You think you're safe because you're not saying anything? Bullshit. You're letting the toxic ones keep running the show. Let's face it, the community isn't going to heal until the rot is cut out. And that means everyone, from the big players to the little trolls, needs to be held accountable. No more pretending. No more hiding. If someone's guilty, they need to face the consequences, whether they like it or not. Alright, let me break this down for you. After the debate with Silver, some of the people who joined my other Discord server started posting some extremely inappropriate and disgusting content, like images of a man raping a chicken, disturbing anime pictures, and other nasty comments. They were spamming the conversation non-stop. Because, on top of that, I disabled the invite link to prevent them from deleting the evidence and covering their tracks. Now, about Zagreus. He's actually Cole, for those who might not be aware of who he really is, but I'll go into more detail about that in the next segment.
Bullshit!
So that's all for this problem with the imposter account. It seems that Jerry, better known as LX Stywai, has left the server after being exposed. I've taken note of his user ID to report his account for impersonation and spreading misinformation. Discord doesn't tolerate users misrepresenting their identity in deceptive or harmful ways, including creating fake profiles and attempting to impersonate individuals, groups, or organizations. To report such behavior, you can use Discord's reporting feature by selecting the message or user profile, choosing Report Message or Report User Profile, and following the prompts to specify the type of abuse. It's crucial to address these issues promptly to maintain the integrity of our community. Now, turning our attention to the ABE community, it's clear that while not everyone is at fault, there are individuals lurking in the shadows who pretend they've done nothing wrong. These bad actors undermine the trust and cohesion of the group. It's essential for the community to hold these individuals accountable and ensure that such behavior is not tolerated moving forward. Not everyone in the ABE community is part of the problem. We're not here to attack the entire community or make broad accusations. However, we are here to call out those vile individuals hiding in the shadows, the ones enabling or defending pedophiles and other predators. These are the people who create a toxic environment that affects everyone around them, and it's high time they were held accountable. We're not doing this to tear down the community, but to root out the rot and give the decent folks in it a chance to rebuild something better. Before we jump into another segment, let me bring to light a discovery I've made about the impersonations and the fake screenshots circulating in this mess. It turns out the person behind all this is someone named Darkblade, a guy who, for some reason, decided dressing up as a chicken would add to his credibility as a commentator. Honestly, it's laughable. But what isn't laughable is the chaos and harm he's caused. Darkblade has been faking evidence, spreading lies, and doing everything in his power to muddy the waters and escalate the drama. To make matters worse, he might actually be connected to Jerry, or perhaps he is Jerry, further proving how deep this nonsense goes. And let's not forget the sheer audacity of these people. Darkblade claims to be a commentator, but his actions scream otherwise. He's not offering constructive critique or valuable insight. He's just stirring the pot for his own twisted amusement. Honestly, he might even be worse than Silver, and that's saying something. At least with Silver you knew what to expect. With Darkblade, it's like dealing with a snake in the grass, someone who slithers around in the background causing havoc, and then pretending to be innocent. If Darkblade or Jerry or whoever else is behind this nonsense is part of the ABE community, then that community needs to take a long, hard look at itself. Why are people like this allowed to thrive within your ranks? Why is there no accountability? If the goal is to maintain a supportive, respectful environment, then these toxic individuals should have been avoided at all costs. Instead, they're given free rein to spread their bullshit and drag everyone else into their mess. To the members of the ABE community who genuinely care about the group's reputation and future, this is your wake-up call. You can't keep turning a blind eye to the people in your midst who are causing harm. It's not about picking sides or engaging in petty drama. It's about standing up for what's right and protecting your community from the predators and manipulators who are destroying it from within. Whether it's Darkblade, Jerry, or anyone else pulling the strings behind the scenes, you have a responsibility to call them out and cut ties. If the ABE community continues to tolerate these kinds of people, then they're complicit in the damage being done. And let me tell you, this kind of toxic behavior doesn't just go away on its own. It festers, it grows, and before you know it, it's completely out of control. So, if the good people in this community want to preserve what they've built, they need to step up and take action. Now as for Darkblade, if he's got something to say about this, I'm all ears. But if he thinks he can keep hiding behind his lies and fake screenshots, he's sorely mistaken. The evidence is piling up, and sooner or later the truth will come to light. When it does, there won't be anywhere left for him to hide. And if anyone out there is still defending him after everything that's come to light, you'd better take a long look in the mirror and ask yourself why. At the end of the day, this isn't just about exposing one person or calling out bad behavior. It's about making sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again. It's about protecting the people who've been hurt by these actions and ensuring that the community as a whole can move forward free from the toxic influences that have been dragging it down. Anyways, as you can see from the screenshots provided, Darkblade seems to have used the browser impact tool to edit Alin's comment and make himself look better while framing Alin in a disgusting light. This is a clear manipulation attempt where he photoshopped the screenshot to make it seem like Alin said something vile. Honestly, it's almost laughable how obvious it is when you take a closer look. The font sizes don't match up, the alignment is off, and even the profile picture doesn't sit correctly. It looks flat and detached from the reply comment, which is a dead giveaway. The third step, boast with followers before engaging. So boast with followers before engaging. If you look closely through your feed, you'll see that text messages are enlarged inside of brackets and boxes. Darkblade's poor attempt at editing these screenshots only proves one thing. He doesn't have any real evidence, so he resorts to fabricating it to manipulate people into believing his lies. This level of deceit is not just pathetic,
It's disgusting. And the fact that he thought no one would notice these glaring inconsistencies just shows how little respect he has for everyone's intelligence. Now, moving on to the screenshots Alin provided, it's clear where the original comment came from. Unlike Darkblade's edited version, Alin's screenshots are consistent with the platform's layout, font size, and structure. The timestamps also make sense. For instance, one of the screenshots Alin took shows a clear timeline posted 4 hours ago when the screenshot was taken, which matches up perfectly with the context of the conversation. If Darkblade really took Alin's screenshot without permission and then tampered with it using Browser Impact or a similar tool, then his so-called evidence is completely invalid. It's nothing more than a desperate attempt to create false narratives and distract from his own actions. This is the kind of person Darkblade is. Someone who lies, manipulates, and fabricates stories to serve his own disgusting agenda. Let's not overlook the fact that Darkblade's claim about being 14 is also likely a lie. Why? Because his behavior, his level of manipulation, and the effort he's putting into creating these fake screenshots suggest otherwise. A 14-year-old might not have the tools or the know-how to pull something like this off, at least not to this extent. It's far more likely he's lying about his age to gain sympathy or make himself seem less culpable. This kind of behavior is exactly why people like Darkblade need to be exposed. If he's willing to go this far, editing screenshots, lying about his age, and presenting false evidence, what else is he capable of? How many more lies has he told? And how many people have been hurt or misled because of his actions? To those who are still defending Darkblade, you need to ask yourselves, why? Why are you standing up for someone who clearly can't be trusted? Why are you allowing yourselves to be manipulated by someone who is only out for his own gain? If you continue to defend him, you're not just enabling his behavior, you're complicit in it. As for the rest of us, it's our responsibility to call out this kind of deceit and ensure the truth comes to light. We cannot allow people like Darkblade to hide in the shadows, spreading lies and creating chaos for their own selfish purposes. The evidence is right here. Alin's screenshots speak for themselves, and the comparison with Darkblade's tampered versions only makes the truth even clearer. Darkblade, if you're watching this, and I know you probably are, this is your wake-up call. Stop the lies, stop the manipulation, and stop trying to drag others down to cover up your own mistakes. If you continue down this path, you're only digging yourself into a deeper hole. And trust me, once the truth is fully out there, there won't be any room left for your excuses or your fake evidence. To everyone else, let this be a lesson. Always verify the evidence before jumping to conclusions. People like Darkblade thrive on deception, but the truth will always come out in the end. And when it does, it's up to us to ensure justice is served. So let's talk about this community post that Darkblade put out recently. He says, I think it is time to formally abandon the community. The Alin/gotta aim controversy is the final nail in the coffin for me. I hope you won't support this fucking pedophile. First off, Darkblade, what exactly are you trying to accomplish here? You're throwing out some heavy accusations, calling Alin a pedophile without any actual evidence to back it up. If you're gonna make such a serious claim, you'd better come prepared with more than just words. Otherwise, you're just stirring the pot for no reason and making an even bigger mess out of this situation. And then you go on to say, I am deciding to quit ABE altogether. I'll focus more on Angry Birds evolution and storytelling animation. That's rich. You're conveniently bowing out of the community after being called out for impersonation and manipulation and sharing invalid evidence like fake screenshots that is photoshopped or being used with Browser Impact as an excuse, and being a troublemaker who makes yourself as a disgusting pedophile. Is this your way of escaping accountability? You can't just drop a bomb like that, quit the community, and expect people to forget about everything you've done. It seems that was your fault. You are the one who is your fault from being a pedo here. Like Green Jay, Zagurus, better known as Cole, and Vox, Your Dress, and other people who's involved in this shitty-ass drama. If you try to go against me over this shit, then just go fuck yourself. Now let's break this down further. You thank people like ABE Fan 424, Elite Smeared, Dead Channel 999, better known as Positive Persod, and at Captain and Piggy McCool for helping you throughout your journey. Helping you with what exactly? Helping you with what exactly? Spreading false accusations? These are the people you've aligned yourself with, and honestly, it speaks volumes about the kind of person you are. And let's not forget the part where you say, I do have some ABE videos planned to release this month, but it is the perfect time to focus on my hobbies rather than what gives me views. Oh, so now it's about your hobbies? That's bullshit, considering your entire history in this community has been about clout chasing and trying to make yourself look like some sort of hero. Don't act like this sudden shift is out of the goodness of your heart. If your real name is Jerry, then you should really face the consequences for your actions. If you are friends of his, or someone that you are connected to him, then what part of group are you on? You are not gonna make any videos just for money to be a total scumbag. How about you should link to your Discord account so you could address the video recording instead of screenshots? So how is that you can fool somebody in the debate blade? It's not all about you, but Silver will be next after I end the situation with ABE Community. I have skills to discover who is liar and who is telling a truth. You're just saying that you're gonna leave. I'm sure you are starting to be a victim blaming over this situation. Lord Blade, here's the thing. If you really cared about the well-being of this community, you wouldn't have resorted to deception and baseless accusations in the first place. You wouldn't have created fake screenshots or spread lies to turn people against Alin. And now, you're trying to play the victim and leave the community as if you're taking some moral high ground? Give me a break. The truth is, you've done more harm than good. You've dragged people's names to the mud, manipulated others for your own gain, and now you're trying to exit stage left without facing the consequences of your actions. That's not how it works. If you're really serious about moving on and focusing on your hobbies, then good riddance. But don't think for a second that leaving the community absolves you of the damage you've caused. The truth always comes out, Darkblade, and people like you can't hide from it forever. So here's my advice. Stop pretending to be something you're not. Stop playing the victim. Own up to what you've done. Apologize to the people you've hurt, and maybe, just maybe, you can start to rebuild some of the trust you've lost. Until then, your words are nothing but empty platitudes. And to everyone else reading this, let this be a reminder to always question what you see and hear, especially from people like Darkblade. It's easy to be misled by someone who presents themselves as trustworthy, but actions speak louder than words. Always look for the truth, no matter how deeply it's buried. Darkblade, if you truly want to leave the community, then leave, but don't try to rewrite history on your way out. People will not gonna believe you, and you need to get some fucking help. You destroyed your own reputation for years, and you already seen your fans is not gonna respond except few of them found out about behind your manipulations and bullshit accusations. Also, you see that Alistair has no intention of trusting you. I don't think he's on your side because he knows what I've been saying in my videos is true. He's not blind to the facts, and neither are the others who have been paying attention. If you're referring to Tangle from my latest video, then you are sadly mistaken. Anthony, better known as Tangle, is not a girl and I did not manipulate them for anything. Let's clear that up right here and now. The problem with you, and people like you, is that you can't handle the idea of someone having the right to criticize others. You seem to think that calling people out for their behavior is an attack on them personally, rather than an attempt to improve the community. But let me tell you something. Criticism is not the same as harassment. I have the right to address the issues I see, and if that bothers you, then maybe you're the one who needs to reflect on your actions. Now, let's talk about my latest video, the one addressing Miles Sebas-Prower's hate base. Did you even watch it? Or are you just jumping to conclusions because it's easier for you to blindly defend people who don't deserve your support? I laid out all the evidence, all the points, and yet here you are, ignoring it all and trying to paint me as the bad guy. You're either deliberately turning a blind eye to the truth, or are you just too stubborn to admit that I might have a point? And if you think it's a good idea to get involved with Sebastian's problems and side with Frank, then let me warn you right now. You're walking into a storm you can't handle. Frank has a history of manipulating situations to suit his narrative, and if you align yourself with him, you'll face the consequences of those actions. I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm saying it as a fact. When you stand on the wrong side of the truth, it has a way of catching up with you. Here's the thing. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you think I'm too blunt or too critical. What I do care about is making sure that this community doesn't fall apart because of people like you who would rather protect predators and liars than hold them accountable. If you're going to accuse me of manipulation or anything else, you'd better come with solid proof, because let me tell you, I've been transparent about everything I've done, and I've backed it up with evidence. You can't win, and you will never will be. This isn't about war. It's about to make people learn things from their mistakes, so they wouldn't repeat the same shit over and over again. So what's your next move? Are you going to keep spreading misinformation? Are you going to continue siding with people who have proven time and again that they can't be trusted? Or are you finally going to take a step back, look at the facts, and realize that maybe, just maybe, you've been wrong this entire time? You can try to spin the narrative however you like, but the truth doesn't change just because you refuse to see it. If you want to be taken seriously, stop making baseless claims and start doing your research. Until then, don't waste my time with your weak attempts to discredit me. I'm here to make this community a better place, and if that means calling out people like you, so be it. The choice is yours. Face the truth, or continue living in denial. If you're going to watch my video about Miles Seaboss Prower's hate base, do yourself a favor and actually watch it without skipping any parts. Yeah, I know. I had a broken microphone in that video and even tried to reboot my computer or my tablet laptop, but what it turns out to be, that vocal has changed the effects itself. I've already addressed this before. My old microphone messed up the recording quality, so I tossed it in the trash and bought a new one. Despite that, I still put in the effort to create commentary videos about certain issues in the Sonic community. Take, for example, the topic of Tingle's situation. Let's set the record straight. Tingle is not a girl. His name is Anthony, and yes, he's been called out for some stupid things he's done in the past. But here's the difference. He realized his mistakes, took responsibility for them, and actually learned from the experience. That's more than I can say for most people in this community. But then there's people like you and others who love to pick sides without understanding the bigger picture. You accuse me of manipulating the underage without presenting any evidence, not even screenshots, to back up your claims. That's not just irresponsible, it's pathetic. It makes you look blind to reality and completely incapable of handling communication like an adult. If you're going to throw around accusations, at least have the decency to come prepared with proof. Otherwise, you're just embarrassing yourself. Let me make one thing very clear. Tangle can handle criticism. He's shown that he's willing to learn from it and move forward. That's the kind of maturity we need if the Sonic community is going to stay intact. Unlike you, who can't seem to wrap your head around what's actually happening, Tangle is at least trying to grow. And let's talk about Alistair for a second. The guy has a life, he has a job. Meanwhile, you're wasting your time arguing with people online and spinning false narratives. Here's an idea. Why don't you go to an institute or a college, study something meaningful, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a purpose beyond stirring up drama? Getting a job for once might even help you gain some perspective on what it means to actually contribute to a community. So, before you even think about making up more baseless accusations or spreading false nonsense, stop and think. Ask yourself if you actually know what the hell is going on. Because if you don't, and you keep running your mouth without evidence, you're only digging yourself into a deeper hole. This community deserves better than people like you dragging it down with your blind ignorance and refusal to grow up. It's time to stop being part of the problem and start figuring out how to be part of the solution. Otherwise, you'll just keep being left behind while the rest of us move forward. Also, you've blocked Cass just because you didn't want to reveal anything hidden behind your computer monitor? When he asked you to show your true colors, you could have simply provided evidence like screenshots or any kind of proof to verify whether you're really Jerry or not. Instead, you chose to avoid accountability. If blocking people who are questioning you or asking for clarification only makes you look more suspicious, and that's on you. To be clear, my subbase doesn't take sides. People like Alistair, Cash Jupiter, Shades, and Did G, along with others who have shown up on my streams, aren't siding with Gotta Aim or anyone else. What we're trying to do is improve the Angry Birds community, including groups like ABE, and make it a better, safer space for everyone. It's not about taking sides or pushing an agenda, it's about holding people accountable and ensuring that freedom of speech isn't trampled on by those who want to cover up serious issues. Let me spell this out for you. Blocking people who are trying to criticize you or ask valid questions isn't a solution. It doesn't make the problems go away. It only exposes you as someone who can't handle the truth. Constructive criticism is not an attack. It's meant to help, to spark a conversation, and to bring light to things that might need fixing, but instead of engaging in a meaningful dialogue, you chose the cowardly route, hiding behind a block button and refusing to acknowledge your faults. If you really care about this community, then act like it. People are here trying to address legitimate concerns like protecting the younger members of the community from predators and cleaning up the toxic behavior that drives people away. And you're out here dodging questions and avoiding scrutiny? That's not leadership, that's fear. And let me make another thing clear. The people who join my streams and share their thoughts aren't there to blindly support me or take my side in some petty argument. They're there because they care about the truth and want to see real progress in this community. But when you go around blocking people who challenge you or question your actions, you're not just silencing them, you're proving their point. So, here's my advice. If you want to be taken seriously, stop running away from criticism. Stop blocking people who are trying to hold you accountable. If you have evidence to back up your claims or to disprove the accusations against you, show it. Be transparent, otherwise don't be surprised when people start to lose faith in you. The Angry Birds community doesn't need more toxicity, lies, or people who refuse to take responsibility. What it needs is accountability, honesty, and a willingness to address the problems head-on. The choice is yours, but know this, people are watching and the truth always comes out in the end. That's all I have to say, and honestly, if you refuse to take constructive criticism like a man, then you shouldn't even be on the internet. It's not a place where you can hide forever and expect no one to question your actions. Eventually, the truth catches up, and the bridges you've burned along the way will leave you standing alone. You'll lose the trust of the few friends you have left, the people who were once willing to stand by your side even when things got tough. You see, trust isn't something you can rebuild overnight. Once you push away those who care enough to call you out when you're wrong, you'll be left surrounded by yes men, people who won't challenge you, who won't tell you when you're making mistakes, and who certainly won't stick around when things fall apart. And believe me, they will fall apart if you keep ignoring criticism and silencing those who are trying to help. But let's transition into something more important. Something bigger than just your inability to take responsibility. Let's talk about the state of the ABE community. Because at this point, it's not just about you or me. It's about the kind of environment we're all fostering. The ABE community has the potential to be something amazing. It could be a place where fans of Angry Birds Evolution come together to share ideas, create content, and build something positive. But instead, it's turned into a battlefield. It's full of infighting, false accusations, and people trying to tear each other down instead of lifting each other up. And why? Because certain individuals, and I'm not just pointing fingers at you, but others as well, can't put their egos aside long enough to think about the bigger picture. What we need to do as a community is take a long, hard look at ourselves and ask, what are we trying to achieve here? Are we here to celebrate something we love? Or are we here to fight pointless battles and let toxicity take over? Because let me tell you, the path we're on right now is only going to lead to the death of this community. People are already leaving. They're tired of the drama, the harassment, and the constant negativity. And if we don't change course, the ABE community is going to collapse, taking all of us down with it. I'm not saying this to be dramatic, I'm saying it because I care. I care about this community and the people in it. I've seen the creativity, the passion, and the potential we have when we're not busy tearing each other apart. But that potential is being wasted because too many people are focused on their own personal vendettas instead of working together to make this community a better place. So here's my challenge to everyone listening. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's stop the petty arguments, the false accusations, and the refusal to take accountability for our actions. Let's start focusing on what really matters, creating a community that we can all be proud of. And to those of you who think you can keep hiding behind fake accounts, spreading lies, and stirring up drama, your time is running out. The rest of us are moving forward, and if you can't keep up, you're going to be left behind. This isn't just about one person or one incident. It's about the future of the ABE community as a whole. So ask yourself, are you going to be part of the problem, or are you going to be part of the solution? The choice is yours, but remember, actions speak louder than words. With that said, let's jump into the next segment where I'll be addressing some specific examples of the toxicity that's been plaguing this community and what we can do to fix it. First of all, I haven't done addressing Dark Blade's situation, but this is going to be the continuation of the response while addressing his video recordings against his claims. I've got those videos that are false bullshit about Alin. Let's take a look. As you can see, this video seems to have no audio background playing, which is already a bit suspicious for someone trying to make a solid point. On top of that, Darkblade doesn't even reveal his own voice, which raises more questions about his credibility. Instead, he records the video showing so-called evidence while accusing Alin of posting disgusting content on a Discord server. But let's take a closer look at what's actually going on. No, you did not show the entire evidence. The so-called evidence you sent is obviously fake. You need to verify where the original comment is coming from. That means showing the full context, including timestamps, unedited screenshots, and linking it back to the original source. Don't just rely on some half-baked screenshots that anyone can tell have been tampered with, and while you're at it, make sure you actually reach out to the person you're accusing or check their channel thoroughly before making baseless claims. It's not that hard to confirm if something is real or not, unless, of course, you're intentionally trying to mislead people. If you don't do this, then guess what? People will assume you're a lying piece of shit who can't back up anything you say. And honestly, they'd be right. If you can't be transparent with your so-called evidence, then you shouldn't be making accusations in the first place. The fact is, you're playing a dangerous game here, spreading misinformation, stirring up drama, and ruining reputations without solid proof. If you're going to call someone out, do it the right way. Otherwise, all you're doing is proving that you're the one people can't trust. Alin is 21. Also, you were trying to get everyone on your side to look fucking famous. That's not going to work. You finally got caught playing impersonation. If you don't have any evidence, then why not prove it and send it to this Discord server that you were joined in? You still haven't admitted or proven anything you've said, Darkblade. Instead, you keep repeating the same bullshit over and over again. For everyone watching this video, keep in mind that Darkblade operates under multiple usernames, including Veteran Spies, and he was originally known as COD. If you happen to come across him on Discord, make sure to grab his user ID so he can't just slip away and think he's off the hook. Be vigilant and report him to the Discord team if he continues to engage in this kind of behavior. We're not here to spread misinformation or cause unnecessary drama, but people like Darkblade need to be held accountable for their actions. Stay alert and don't let him fool you. First off, the evidence he provides looks heavily edited. The font size and alignment are off, the profile picture doesn't properly match the comment, and there's no context to verify where or when these alleged screenshots were taken. If he really wanted to prove something, why wouldn't he show the full conversation or provide timestamps? That's a red flag right there. Second, let's talk about his approach. If Darkblade genuinely wanted to call out inappropriate behavior, wouldn't he be transparent about his own actions and motivations? Instead, he hides behind vague accusations, doesn't use his voice, and relies on fake screenshots to build his argument. This isn't the behavior of someone seeking accountability, it's the behavior of someone trying to manipulate others into believing lies. On top of that, let's not forget his track record. This isn't the first time Darkblade has been caught spreading misinformation or stirring up unnecessary drama. He's notorious for using shady tactics, like browser impact tools, to fabricate evidence and make himself look like the victim. This time is no different, he's just using the same tricks to drag Alin's name through the mud. If Darkblade had any real proof, he would have shown it by now. Instead, all he's doing is throwing baseless accusations around, hoping that people will take his side without questioning him. And honestly, that kind of behavior is not just cowardly, it's dangerous. It spreads false narratives, divides communities, and makes it harder for people to focus on the real issues. So, here's the thing. If you're going to make claims like this, you better back them up with solid evidence, screenshots, timestamps, full conversations, everything. Otherwise, you're just another person trying to twist the truth to fit your own agenda. Darkblade's video might look convincing at first glance, but once you start digging into the details, it falls apart. No voice, no context, no solid evidence. Just a poorly executed attempt to shift blame and stir up drama. And we're not falling for it. If he has something to say, let him come forward with the truth, not this fabricated nonsense. Well, it looks like we've got another problem on our hands, Cole. Yet another predator who doesn't deserve a spot in the ABE community, trying to worm his way into the Darkblade situation. You'd think this kind of interference wouldn't even happen, but here we are. For those who don't know, I've already screenshotted Cole's disgusting comments. And before anyone jumps in to call it fake, let me shut that down right now. How about this? I've been recording the entire time. I've captured everything to prove that nothing here is edited. I even went into my own Gmail account to verify those comments, ensuring everything you see is authentic. So, no, there's no Photoshop magic, no tampering, no tricks. This is the truth. Plain and simple. Even I did record this one too on YouTube platform. Then the comment seems to be real, but don't take this out of context to think this is a joke or funny. It's still disgusting. Sorry about the profile aren't showing. But you can see his channel is still out there. The comments are as real as it gets. And the video I recorded stands as undeniable proof. Cole, just like Darkblade, can't keep running and hiding behind lies. The truth will always come out, no matter how hard they try to deny it. Unfortunately, the moderators on my comment section had to step in and delete the spam comments Cole was flooding the thread with. No matter how hard he tries to worm his way back in or spam again, he stands no chance whatsoever. If he thinks he can intimidate me by pulling off stunts like this, he's sorely mistaken. If Cole ever tries to take things a step further, like attempting to dox me or trick me into clicking some shady link, I won't hesitate to involve law enforcement. That's not a threat, it's a promise. People like him don't get to hide behind screens and wreak havoc without facing real-world consequences. For everyone watching this, it's in your best interest to steer clear of him. Don't engage, don't click on anything he sends, and definitely don't give him the attention he's craving. People like Cole thrive on creating chaos and dragging others down with them. Let this serve as a warning not just for Cole, but for anyone who thinks they can get away with this behavior. I'm not someone who takes this kind of harassment lightly, and I'm always prepared to protect myself and my community. If you have evidence or come across anything suspicious tied to him, make sure to report it immediately. What are you planning to do, Darkblade? Making another fake screenshots? Actually, I have a lot of evidence better than you do. Anyway, let's go for the next video. Alright, let's dive into some of the bullshit that Darkblade has been pulling. He's out here claiming he didn't edit anything, but, well, here's the point we're getting to right now. Darkblade, how about you to shut the fuck up and get into a fucking point? It's just you and me, smartass. You've got all these accusations flying around, and yet, somehow, you're still trying to dodge accountability. So, let's make it simple. If you've got nothing to hide, how about showing us the real truth behind all this? I'm talking about those so-called screenshots you've been waving around like they're legitimate. Why not back them up with actual proof? Record your YouTube notification section on your smartphone where those comments supposedly came from. Let's see everything unedited and in real time. Better yet, why don't you send that video recording directly to me? Let me verify it for myself. If your claims are legitimate, this should be no problem, right? Well, what if I ask you a couple of questions? Because if I find out you're making a fake comment after all, if you're going to admit that this was fake, why do you ask me that question? If your claims are legitimate, this should be no problem, right? But something tells me you're not going to do that. And you know why? Because deep down, even you know that those screenshots don't hold water. You've got people calling you out left and right, Blade, and all you're doing is doubling down on the lies. If you want to clear your name, the first step is transparency. Stop hiding behind fake screenshots and excuses. Show us the real evidence. Or stop pretending you've got anything credible to say. And let me tell you something, if you don't step up and provide the proof, people are going to start seeing you for what you really are, a manipulator who thrives on deception. The choice is yours. Either show the truth or keep running from it like you always do. But don't think for 1 second that anyone's going to take you seriously until you prove yourself. So here's your chance, Blade. Send that video recording, show us the original notifications, and finally put all this to rest. Or keep hiding, and let everyone see just how desperate you are to avoid the truth. You're such a spoiled brat, and it's not even funny. You have no evidence whatsoever to show where exactly those screenshots or comments are coming from. And let me tell you this, don't go around saying that I'm lying, because I've got everything to back up what I'm saying. I have every recording, every screenshot, and all of it has been properly verified. Unlike you, I don't just throw around baseless accusations or fabricated nonsense. I take the time to ensure the evidence I present is legitimate, and I make sure it's easy for people to see the truth. You, on the other hand, haven't provided anything concrete, and that makes your claims even less credible. If you think you're so innocent, then why don't you show us your side of the story? Screen record your notifications, pull up the original comments, and verify your so-called evidence. It's not hard to prove something if you're actually telling the truth. The fact that you haven't done this speaks volumes about your intentions at this point. The only thing you're doing is digging yourself deeper into a hole. People are starting to see through your lies, and the more you try to cover them up, the worse it's going to get for you. So either come clean and own up to what you've done, or prepare to face the consequences of your actions when the truth comes out for everyone to see. To be honest, Alin should have done this from the start, showing all the evidence, proving the history of his comment section, and even going as far as verifying it in Gmail. From the very beginning, he should have been transparent and shown where his comments actually came from. Instead, he chose to search for his own comment history and trace it back, which is fine, but the real issue here is how you're handling the situation. Right there, in the video recording he made, not mine by the way, you can see the truth. His comment section is clean. There's nothing disgusting or out of place in what he said. So, if you're going to keep spamming these fake screenshots and trying to call him out for things he didn't do, the only person who looks like a complete fool is you. If you really want to be taken seriously, why don't you take the same steps Alin did? Why not show everyone where those screenshots are coming from? If you're telling the truth, it should be easy to pull up the original sources and verify that you're not just creating fabricated evidence to push your own agenda, but I'm willing to bet that you won't do it. Why? Because deep down, you're lying. And let's make one thing clear. If you keep pushing these fake accusations and pretending that you've got real evidence when all you're doing is manipulating screenshots and spreading lies, people will see right through you. They'll know you're just a total lying piece of shit trying to ruin someone's reputation for no reason. So, if you want to keep this up, fine, but don't be surprised when no one believes you, and when the truth gets exposed for everyone to see. Alin and others have already provided real evidence, and it's only a matter of time before the rest of your lies come crashing down. So take this as your final warning. Stop spreading fake accusations and start showing the actual proof that you claim to have. Otherwise, you're just digging your own grave. As you can see in this video, there's absolutely no disgusting content or inappropriate behavior going on, just the original comments that you and Alin have made. Everything is presented as it is with no edits or manipulations. For transparency, I've set the video to play at a slightly faster speed so I can get through everything efficiently. So if you want to take a closer look at the differences between the comments shown in the video, feel free to pause it at any point. We're almost done here, and it's important to keep this in mind for future reference. Just in case, this might be the final time the ABE community has to address this issue. I don't know about Persod, but we will look at his community post after this. Even though the video about him will remain unlisted for now, I'm planning to create a new one where I'll move all the evidence into one place. This way everything will be consolidated, clear, and easy for everyone to review this shit. Also, I'm planning to create a better Angry Birds epic community on Discord, one that's free from all the toxicity that's been plaguing the current one. This new community will give people the opportunity to decide who should take ownership, ensuring that the right person is in charge and not someone who contributes to the negativity. The old community can be left behind for those who are tired of dealing with the toxic behavior. This will be a space where fans can share strategies, artwork, and just have fun without worrying about harassment or drama. To those who genuinely care about the game and want to be part of something positive, this new Discord server is for you guys. Alright, let's address something important here. Darkblade and the list of usernames he's gone by over time. This guy has a history of hiding behind different aliases, making it harder for people to track his actions and hold him accountable. First, he went by the username COD89. Then he changed it to Night of Death, and now he's calling himself Darkblade. Why is this relevant? Because it shows a pattern of behavior. Every time things start to heat up or he gets called out for something, he conveniently switches his name like he's trying to erase his past. But the internet doesn't forget, and neither do I. It's not just about the name changes, it's about the intent behind them. These shifts seem like a calculated effort to dodge responsibility and confuse people who are trying to piece together the truth. If you're confident in your actions, you don't need to keep hiding behind new usernames. So, for everyone watching, if you come across any of these names, COD89, Night of Death, or Dark Blade, know that they're all the same person. Be cautious and keep an eye out for any suspicious behavior. And if he tries to use yet another alias to escape accountability, we'll call that out too. The truth will come to light no matter how many times he tries to hide it. Let me guess, when you post a comment, make a community post, upload a video, or do anything on YouTube, Gmail automatically sends you a notification about it. It's like a digital receipt for your actions on the platform, especially if your Google account is linked to YouTube or any other social media platform. These notifications are a record of what you've done, and they're accessible at any time if you need to prove something. Now, if someone claims they don't have these notifications, there's a very simple solution. Just search for it in Gmail or whatever social media account it's tied to. A quick search can pull up the original messages, posts, or comments, and if they want to prove they're not hiding anything, all they have to do is record themselves scrolling through their Gmail or notification history. This is the easiest way to verify that things are real, and it removes any doubt or speculation. But here's the problem. When people try to use fake screenshots or edited images made with tools like Photoshop, Browser Impact add-ons, or other apps, it becomes very obvious that they're trying to manipulate the narrative. Sometimes they even create fake conversations or impersonate someone to stage a completely fabricated situation. That's when it becomes crucial to demand proof, not just vague claims, but actual verifiable evidence. If someone says, "I don't have it," or refuses to show their Gmail history or any other notification logs, then it raises a big red flag. Why wouldn't you show your proof if you're telling the truth? The only logical explanation is that they have something to hide, or they're scared that their lies will be exposed. For everyone watching, this is your reminder. If someone accuses you or makes claims against you, ask for proper evidence. Demand they show their original notifications, search histories, or video recordings of their accounts to back it up. And if they can't or won't, then it's safe to say they're just making things up. So, to all the people trying to pull shady tactics with fake screenshots or staged conversations, your tricks won't work. There's always a way to expose the truth, and you better believe I'll be the one to make sure that happens. Alright, let's talk about this latest attempt by Dark Blade to clear his name. He posted this apology on his YouTube channel, and I'll read it out loud for everyone to hear so there's no confusion. Here's what he said. "Let's clear things out. Yes, I'm sorry. I lied about the fact that Dark Blade and I are the same people. I sold my channel after my Abe Evolution video flopped. For proof, I have mentioned the screenshots. At STRAK3RE, he can understand the language, so if you don't believe me, you can ask him. I gave him the email. Why not ask him yourself, Darkblade? You are the part of this problem, not everyone else." Okay, let's continue with the reading. He wanted to make his style of videos. Now, I am aware about the Gotta Aim and Alin Tecsan drama. I have seen the screenshots. I personally don't know shit about these, since I didn't have access then. Personally, I think they are not legit. I tried to talk to him about this, but he isn't answering me anymore. I'll try to ask him when I meet him IRL. I heartfully apologize to Gotta Aim for any harm or anything. I know it might be hard to trust. I should have come clean about selling this channel. I currently have access. He told me about the controversy. I want to apologize to Alin especially. You personally were very nice with me, and you were one of my great friends. I will update you all regarding the situation once I talk to Dark about this. Okay, now that you've heard his words, let's break it down. First of all, Darkblade, you're saying you lied about your identity and tried to act like you were someone else. Yeah, we figured that much, but selling your channel doesn't erase your responsibility for everything that happened while it was under your name. You think people are just going to forget all the harmful things tied to your account? Think again. You're saying you've seen the screenshots related to the Alin and Alin Tecsan drama, and you personally don't know shit about these. Well, let me ask you this. If you don't know anything about them, then how are you claiming they're not legit? You can't just dismiss evidence as fake without providing proof. Where's your video recording of your Gmail inbox or YouTube notifications to back up your claims? That's the kind of evidence we need if you want to be taken seriously. You also mentioned trying to talk to this person in real life and apologizing to Alin and Alin. Well, apologies are great and all, but they mean nothing if you don't address the real issue, your consistent pattern of lying, manipulating, and trying to cover up your actions. Words are cheap, actions are what matter. Let's not forget the bigger picture here. Darkblade, this isn't just about your post or your excuses. It's about the fact that people like you think it's okay to hurt others, lie to them, and then try to brush it all under the rug with a half-hearted apology. You say it's hard to trust you? No kidding, that's because you've done nothing to earn trust, and for those who might still be defending Darkblade, wake up. If you're enabling someone like him, you're part of the problem. Whether it's fake screenshots, impersonation, or any other shady tactic, people deserve to know the truth. And if you think this ends here, let me tell you, it doesn't. Darkblade, if you truly want to clear things out, here's what you need to do. Stop hiding behind vague excuses and provide concrete evidence. Show us your Gmail, your YouTube notifications, whatever it takes to verify the truth. If you've got nothing to hide, then prove it. Otherwise, don't expect anyone to believe a word you say. And let me make this perfectly clear. If anyone out there is trying to let his harmful behavior continue, or worse, hurt others for his own gain, it's not going to happen. There will always be people like me and others who will make sure the truth comes back to bite you in the ass. So, Darkblade, here's your chance to step up. But remember, every lie, every piece of manipulation, and every harmful act has consequences. If you think you can dodge accountability forever, you're dead wrong. The truth is out there, and it's not going anywhere. So stop with the excuses and start taking responsibility, because the clock is ticking and people are watching. Okay, so let's talk about these two screenshots I came across. The language in both of them is Indian, which immediately raises a red flag for me. It's pretty suspicious. Now, I'm not here to throw wild accusations without evidence, but let's be real, when you see patterns like this, you can't just ignore them. And by the way, let me just warn everyone, if you've ever come across any Indian scammers online, you know exactly how they operate. They'll scam you for their own gain, no matter who you are. They might even pretend to be your friend to gain your trust. This is why you've got to stay sharp and question everything. It's not about targeting anyone based on nationality or language, it's about spotting the behavior and being cautious. Look, I've seen some crazy stuff in my time dealing with online communities, and trust me when I say scammers can come from anywhere. I know people are probably thinking, Magnus, why focus on this? Well, because if someone's using fake screenshots or impersonating others, they're already showing they have no problem lying to manipulate situations. Combine that with the fact that some of these tactics like fabricating evidence mirror what we've seen from online scammers, and it's a pattern worth addressing. Now, just to clarify, this isn't my first rodeo with suspicious people online. I once had a run-in with someone completely different, an African-American guy named Stetson. That's a different story though, and I'll save it for another time. The point is, I've dealt with shady people from all walks of life, and the one thing they all have in common is this. They think they can fool you for their own benefit. But here's the thing, the truth always has a way of coming out, no matter how much someone tries to cover it up. So for anyone who thinks they can hide behind fake screenshots, misleading language, or even a false persona, guess what? You're not as untouchable as you think. And for everyone else watching this, let me give you some advice. Be careful who you trust, whether it's an alleged friend, a so-called ally, or even just someone you've interacted with online. Always verify the facts. If something seems off, it probably is. And if anyone starts acting suspicious, like fabricating evidence or trying to manipulate you, don't be afraid to call them out. The internet can be a dangerous place, full of scammers, manipulators, and liars. But it's also a place where the truth can be exposed if you're willing to look for it. So, to all those out there who think they can get away with their lies, just know this. People are watching, and they're not as gullible as you might think. And to whoever is behind these screenshots, if you think you can fool me or anyone else, you've got another thing coming. Your lies won't hold up under scrutiny, and sooner or later they'll come back to bite you. So, enjoy your little game while it lasts, because it won't last long. Anyways, I'll go ahead and drop the screenshots here for everyone to see. If any of you know what this is all about or have any insights, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm curious to hear what you all think. And as for you, Darkblade, do me and everyone else a favor, don't take sides with anyone, especially not with Jerry, who's likely still hanging out in that Roasting Gang server, or the ABE community. Let's not forget the kind of people they surround themselves with, the ones engaging in toxicity, spreading bullshit accusations, and fueling unnecessary drama. Aligning with individuals like that only drags you down further and makes things worse for everyone involved. If you really need help figuring things out, maybe it's time for some self-reflection. Perhaps it's best for you to step away permanently from being a commentator. Honestly, this isn't the kind of environment you should stay in if you're serious about improving. A fresh start away from the toxicity might be the only way to make things right, not just for yourself, but for everyone else affected by your actions. So, here's my advice. Stop clinging to the drama. Stop defending people who perpetuate negativity, and take a long, hard look at how this all impacts your reputation and your future. It's never too late to walk away and focus on building something better for yourself. But that's a choice only you can make. The ball's in your court. Alright, so let's head over to the ABE community and start with Positive Persod now. This guy came across the drama and is demanding I take down a video when I've done absolutely nothing to him. If Persod doesn't want to be involved in the drama, then here's a suggestion. Don't insert yourself into the situation. It's as simple as that. But no, instead of staying out of it, he's over here trying to defend people in the ABE community who are reportedly hiding behind shadows with suspicious behavior. You have to wonder, what are they up to this time? Alright, let's go through what he wrote, starting off strong with Mr. Mangus. Seriously? It's Magnus, not Mangus. Learn how to pronounce, or better yet, type my name. Persod, let me make one thing clear. I'm not here to be mean, and I'm not here to attack you or get rid of you. That's not my goal. But let's be honest, you came back just to stir things up again. You're 19, I'm 27. There's a pretty big age gap between us. I've already stepped away from all this for months now, but let me tell you something you need to understand. You'd think someone throwing around accusations would at least try to get the name of their supposed enemy right, but I guess even that's asking too much. Now, look at this nonsense. He's claiming I accused him of being a pedo defender because he's not on my side. No! Persod. The problem isn't whose side you're on, it's the fact that you're willingly associating with people who have actively contributed to toxic behavior and harmful accusations in this community. If you're going to involve yourself in this mess, then at least be prepared to take some accountability for the company you keep. Also, he's bringing up all these pals of his gotta aim. ABG Aimer 2023 Lee Bowl song. And the rest is if dropping their names is supposed to make his argument any stronger. Newsflash, it doesn't. Especially when these same people are part of the problem and have been called out for their toxic behavior time and time again. Gone. And don't even get me started on the hypocrisy. He says he wants to avoid drama, but then spends an entire paragraph accusing me and Alin, without presenting a shred of factual evidence. Persod. You can't have it both ways. If you're going to cry about being dragged into drama, maybe stop throwing fuel onto the fire. Then he has the nerve to call me and Alin immature. Me? Immature? This is coming from someone who just threw a tantrum in a public post, spewing insults and acting like he's above it all. Honestly, the projection here is wild. Look, Persod, if you don't want anything to do with me or Alin, that's fine. We're not exactly lining up to hang out with you either, but don't sit there acting like a victim while defending the very people who've caused this community so much grief. And as for your last warning, dude, thing that you only just wanted to pick fight with people to start the war, this isn't all about the threats, it's the facts. Maybe you should either take a criticism like a man and stop blaming people over their problems. If you don't want to be exposed for your lies and hypocrisy, then maybe you should think twice before hitting post. And one last thing, stop pretending this isn't your return. If you really wanted to walk away, you wouldn't be out here stirring the pot and making empty threats. So, take your own advice for once and leave the past behind. Because I have already caught the imposter of Alin and some toxic people who were responsible. Not all, just some of them. Just in case that ABE community will be improved for better. If there is a problem with toxic people around them who tried to ruin Angry Birds franchise or community, they should verify the evidence with video recording with every post. Every messages on search or any other kind of things that is addressed for evidence instead of photoshopping or trying to fighting each other like a victim blaming. Dude, I have rights to address the situation on this commentary video. You've already saw the warning of the video that does not contain any kind of harassment, just get over it. If you don't move on, if people will think that you are just desperate for attention, who don't care about anyone but yourself just to drag people down in this community. That's a promise. The video is already set in unlisted. I'll just give you one last chance to walk away. This situation will die on its own, and to anyone who saw any screenshots will never be trusted. It will be unedited. Let me make this clear. If anyone tries to send screenshots based on this drama, they will lose all trust, especially when it involves underage individuals. The evidence should be verified, preferably with video recordings, so there's no room for suspicion on social media. If something personal needs to be blocked, that's fine, but if someone decides to twist things out of context or make false accusations without providing the full picture, that's when I step in. If you or your friends are trying to get involved, I'd ask you to leave it to those who are trusted to handle these toxic people. Let me guess, you were trying to manipulate a 14-year-old Silver, aka ABE Gamer, right? He thinks he can take me down with all his lies, accusing me of doing something bad to an underage person. If you're talking about Tangle, he's not a girl, he's a boy who calls himself Anthony. He's one of Miles Cebus Prower's haters, someone who falsely attacked him in the Sonic community over Discord moderation tools. I was just trying to explain that it was his opinion to change something on Discord, but Sebastian was just trying to improve the Sonic community, not abuse the tools. Think before you speak. We don't tolerate behavior that's none of your business, especially when it involves preventing people from taking valid criticism, holding fast to your perspective and looking out for the truth like none of the other politicians, which has proven to be the case since we've been posting our dire warnings. I don't owe anyone an apology, and no one owes you anything either. Especially not when people from the other side keep getting more than 3 chances. You're screwing up all your chances, and that's a real problem. If you want to make your point, you should be verifying evidence before you act. People need to trust that you're being honest. And don't yell when people call you out or try to have a civil conversation. This drama has gone on long enough, and people are pissed. They want it to end for good. If anyone is still watching this video I made, it's to learn to take advice, to help those who've been hurt, and to move on from the differences and go separate ways. Cass was right. People who are friends of Darkblade made this happen, and this drama could have ended a long time ago. Insults and swearing are part of the deal, so stop telling people to stop swearing. Not everyone is going to stop. And don't trust people like Cole who are out here doing disgusting stuff. He thought he could come back to my channel, thinking I wouldn't be able to get rid of him with my subscribers and moderators. Well, let me tell you, my moderators will remove them in a matter of hours, and there's nothing you can do about it. I have all the evidence. Clips and screenshots that are real and verified. Choosing to fight me won't help your case. It will make things worse because the people who have been attacked will fight back. I'm not sending them after you, but I am giving you a warning. It's a piece of advice, and I strongly suggest you stop fighting. You've had your chance, and we're talking about a different situation now. People are not talking about you that much, especially myself. But you'll take a blame on somebody. Look, the internet can be a real mess, especially if you're involved in any community. You're gonna encounter commentators who stand for free speech, then you know those people are trusted. But here's the thing. Sometimes those people abuse their rights as to fight each other over opinions as an excuse, instead of helping a victim as an excuse. And when that happens, it creates nothing but chaos. The truth is, they'll either get called out or get exposed for what they really are. You don't want to be one of those toxic people. As for those who claim they're right but don't provide any evidence, only to hurt others, those are the real problem. They don't care about the truth or fairness. They just want to take advantage of situations to attack victims without any accountability. And they might groom people, especially children. And let me tell you, people like that will face consequences. They'll be punished, and not in the way they think. It's not about getting revenge, it's about ensuring that their actions have consequences. So they can't just go around spreading lies and causing harm. And you don't want to end up being in jail or prison, since there is too many people doxing a victim by swatting them and threatening them. Or abusing someone else's privacy for attention. There are too many programs out there like Python or PowerShell or others all over the internet that can hack persons' smartphones or computers or laptops who got themselves arrested. Like that artist named Cristalli who was 16-year-old and above. When you make baseless accusations or manipulate others without proof, you create more damage than you realize. And for what? To make yourself better than anyone else around you? To cover up your own mistakes? To distract people from the real issues? That's not how it works. The truth always comes out in the end, and when it does, the people who try to use lies for their advantage will have to answer for their actions. People who try to twist the narrative or manipulate situations are never going to win in the long run. They might think they're clever in the moment, but they'll eventually be exposed for the toxic individuals they are. No one can keep up the act forever, and when they get exposed, they won't have anywhere to run. So don't get caught up in the cycle of drama. Stand for the truth. Stand for what's right. Don't let toxic people drag you into their nonsense. Look, the internet has always been full of drama worldwide, and people will keep fighting over opinions. That's just the reality of it, and there's nothing you can do to change it. What you can do is learn how to live with it and not get yourself dragged into situations you don't belong in. Drama happens all the time, and if you want to avoid it, then stay out of it and let commentators or others who thrive on addressing this kind of nonsense deal with it. I get it. It's not your battle if you don't make it your problem. And let me be clear, if you want your community to be respected, or even exist, unlike your so-called positive squad fan community, then you need to rethink how you approach things. If you don't want your friends being accused of disgusting things, like being sexually attracted to minors or doing shady stuff, then take some responsibility for the kind of environment you're cultivating. Maybe you should try changing your ways now before things spiral out of control and children start associating your name with grooming or other disgusting behavior. It's not just about you, it's about the influence you have and the consequences of letting this toxic behavior fester. You've already seen how people and communities fall apart because of toxicity on platforms like YouTube and Discord. You talk like you're above it, but the truth is, you're enabling it by being so deeply involved with the wrong people. And for the record, the people you mentioned, they're not my friends. I don't even know them, and they're not part of my subbase. If you're looking for people who support me, you'll find names like Shades, Cass, Alistair, and others. These are the ones who actively stand against toxic behavior. They're my sub-base, not the people you've lumped me in with. Before, my supporters wouldn't even comment. They'd just like my videos and quietly move on. But when I'm threatened, or when drama like this escalates beyond reason, they step up. They make the choice to support me and take action, not just for my sake, but for the sake of everyone else who wants to see this nonsense end. Just like how they stood up and got rid of Frank for the damage he caused 3 years ago. That's the kind of support base I have. People who act with purpose and integrity when it matters. Now, let me make one thing perfectly clear. If this continues, if you keep dragging this drama out and pointing fingers at everyone except yourself, then don't be surprised when people start to see you as part of the problem. You claim to be against toxicity, but your actions tell a different story. If you want respect, start by showing it. If you want peace, stop stirring the pot, because if you keep this up, you're going to find yourself completely isolated, with no one left to stand by you. So here's my advice. Take a step back, reflect on your behavior, and make the changes necessary to fix the mess you've created. If you can't do that, then don't be surprised when the internet moves on without you, leaving you stuck in the very drama you claim to despise. And to be honest, don't claim that I was the one who started this drama. When you've got toxic people doing all kinds of shady stuff to the victims in this situation, it's absurd to point fingers at me. Let's set the record straight. The victims, or as you call them, part of the resistance, came to people like Kaz Jupiter and myself to address these issues. They told me outright that someone was pulling some truly messed up stuff and they needed help to bring it to light. If I upload a video or someone else uploads it before me, then sure, it might stir things up. But it's because there's a growing group of people, this so-called resistance, who are sick and tired of the same old toxic behavior. Let me guess, you're worried about what's in that video. It's about time someone showed the truth about people like Green Jay and others who've been part of the problem all along. That said, any video like that would be unlisted and updated as needed to address the situation correctly. I'm not just throwing accusations around or attacking you for the sake of it. This is simply a response to your post. Now, here's a suggestion. Instead of lashing out, why not focus on improving your own approach? Change the rules and make sure to verify the evidence before jumping to conclusions, just like I've been doing. On my channel, I've made it clear that if anyone tries to use fake screenshots, fabricated stories, or any other kind of nonsense to infiltrate this drama and pretend to be on someone's side, they will not be trusted. Not until there's verifiable proof. I'm talking about real evidence. Video recordings, links to the original source of comments, or actual video clips. That's the standard we should all be holding ourselves to. Here's the thing, I'm not here to insult you, and nothing in this video is a personal attack, that's a fact. But I will say this, you need to understand how serious this kind of behavior can be. If you don't stop, it could lead to people questioning your intentions and your reputation as an adult. Let me be clear, grooming or any other disgusting behavior isn't just damaging to others, it'll destroy your own future. And perhaps not to discourage everybody out, the story of your own behavior is not the only story that'll even describe a blood soap, so I strongly advise against picking fights out of revenge or spite. That's not how you solve anything, it only drags you further into the mess. Take this as constructive criticism, not an attack. Everyone makes mistakes, and part of growing up is learning to own up to them and respect that others are trying to help you see the bigger picture. Before you apologize, you need to understand the weight of your actions, and ensure you're sincere about making changes. At the end of the day, my goal isn't to fight you, it's to set things straight. I've already seen too many people let their emotions get the better of them and end up ruining everything for themselves and those around them. So instead of escalating things, step back, reflect, and work on moving forward in a better way. That's all I've got to say for now. Just remember, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about how we handle these situations going forward. Fix your mistakes, own up to them, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find some respect in the process. Alright, so that's all I have to say for now. Anyways, guys, let's move on to the next part. We've got a few more screenshots to go through, and these will be the last ones I address for now. And let's start with Silver. Now, it seems like Silver has been going after Cast Jupiter for quite some time, and honestly, the whole thing reeks of unnecessary hostility. From what I've seen, Silver has been consistently attacking Cass, whether it's through petty comments or outright false accusations. It's like every time Cass tries to address a situation or stand up against toxic behavior, Silver is right there, ready to tear him down without any real basis. Let me tell you something, going after someone who is actively trying to make things better just shows how desperate you are to keep the drama alive. Cast Jupiter has been one of the few people who actually takes the time to verify evidence, call out toxic individuals, and help victims speak up. And what does Silver do? Instead of contributing anything meaningful, he just spreads more negativity and tries to undermine Cass's efforts. For example, in one of the screenshots, Silver accused Cass of being biased or playing favorites, but there's no proof to back up his claims. He's just throwing accusations around like it's some kind of sport. If you've got a real issue, bring evidence to the table. Otherwise, you're just making yourself look foolish. And let's not forget how Silver likes to twist situations to make himself look like the victim. He'll take a minor disagreement or criticism and blow it out of proportion, acting as if everyone is out to get him. It's manipulative, and quite frankly, it's exhausting to deal with. If Silver spent half as much energy on self-reflection as he does on attacking others, maybe we wouldn't even be having this conversation. At the end of the day, Silver's behavior isn't just damaging to Cass, it's a problem for the entire community. When you constantly attack someone who's trying to do the right thing, you're not just hurting them, you're discouraging others from stepping up and taking a stand. That's exactly how toxic environments continue to thrive. People like Silver keep stirring the pot, creating divisions, and making it harder for anyone to address the real issues. So, here's my advice to Silver. If you don't like what Cast Jupiter is doing, fine, you're entitled to your opinion. But if you're not willing to provide evidence or offer constructive criticism, then maybe it's time to step back and reconsider your approach. Attacking someone just for the sake of it doesn't make you look strong or righteous, it makes you part of the problem. And to everyone else watching, remember this. Toxic people like Silver only have as much power as we give them. If we stop feeding into their nonsense and start focusing on real solutions, they'll eventually lose their influence. Cast Jupiter has done a lot to expose the truth and protect the community, and for that he deserves our support, not baseless attacks. Now the debate has already begins on the video with Silver, also known as ABE Gamer. Alright, let's break this down step by step. Starting with this comment from Silver, or as they go by at ABE Gamer 2023. At 7:19, they say, "For no reason, so harassing a bunch of minors and slandering people for no reason whatsoever isn't a reason? Y'all are just something else with your delusion, grown men, let me remind you." First of all, let's unpack this. Silver, you're quick to accuse others of harassment and slander, but where's your proof? You're throwing around some heavy accusations without providing any context or evidence to back it up. If you're going to make such claims, at least be prepared to show receipts instead of just tossing out empty words. It's like you're trying to stir the pot without taking any responsibility for the consequences. And calling people grown men as if that invalidates their points or makes them delusional, that's just lazy. Sure that we're adults, but not all. We have few people who were underage and aren't associated with predators. Like you do. But that doesn't mean we're immune to dealing with the same toxic nonsense you're contributing to. If anything, your constant deflection and sarcastic tone make it seem like you're more interested in antagonizing people than actually resolving anything. Now, let's address the core of your comment, claiming harassment of minors. Look, no one here condones harassment of any kind. If that's truly happening, then bring forward solid evidence and we'll deal with it appropriately. But what you're doing here is conflating legitimate criticism and exposure of toxic behavior with harassment. There's a big difference between calling someone out for their actions and just attacking them for no reason. Also, I find it ironic that you're accusing others of slander when you're out here throwing baseless claims about people being delusional and harassing minors. If anything, it seems like you're projecting your own toxic behavior onto others to distract from your part in this mess. It's a classic move from someone who knows they're in the wrong but doesn't want to admit it. And that little laughing emoji at the end? Silver, it's not the mic drop you think it is. It just makes you look like you're not taking any of this seriously. If you actually cared about the issues you're pretending to highlight, you'd approach this with some level of maturity instead of resorting to cheap shots and emojis. Here's the thing, Silver. This community doesn't need people like you fanning the flames of drama while pretending to be above it all. If you want to contribute positively, start by addressing issues with facts and evidence, not sarcasm and baseless accusations. Until then, you're just part of the problem. Alright, that's one comment down. Let's move on to the next screenshot and see what other gems Silver has left for us to address. Alright, let's move on to another one of Silver's comments. This one is short, but it says a lot about their attitude. Here's what they had to say. ABE Gamer 2023. Now it's our turn. First of all, Silver, what exactly do you mean by our turn? Are you seriously trying to escalate things even further? This comment isn't just immature, it's blatantly antagonistic. You're essentially admitting that you're gearing up for some kind of retaliatory drama or attack. What kind of productive conversation starts with our turn? This isn't a game, and it's certainly not a competition about who can stir up the most trouble. And let's talk about those emojis. The "and" combination? What are you trying to imply here? That you're planning something in secret, or that you're proud of whatever chaos you think you're about to unleash? Because if that's the case, it's not clever, it's just childish. If you've got something to say, be direct about it. Hiding behind cryptic comments and smug emojis only shows that you're more interested in playing games than actually resolving anything. Here's the thing. Comments like this only fuel the toxicity in the community. Instead of contributing to the problem, why not take a step back and think about how your words and actions affect others? If you're trying to take your turn to address an issue, then do it with evidence, logic, and maturity. But if this is just about getting back at people for calling out bad behavior, then you're part of the problem, plain and simple. Let's be real. Our turn for what? Are you planning to continue dragging this drama out for as long as possible? Because trust me, no one wants that, except for people who thrive on this kind of negativity. If you're trying to prove a point or stand for something, this isn't the way to do it. It just makes you look like someone who's more interested in perpetuating conflict than actually fixing anything. So Silver, if you want to have a turn, here's my advice. Take your turn to apologize for the part you've played in escalating this mess. Take your turn to step back and reflect on how your actions contribute to the toxicity. Take your turn to be better instead of doubling down on this nonsense. Until then, comments like this only show that you're not serious about being part of the solution. Alright, that's another comment down. Let's move on to the next one and keep breaking this down. Alright, let's take a look at another thread of comments from Cast Jupiter's video. This one is a bit more back and forth, so let's break it down piece by piece. Starting with Silver's initial comment, at ABEGE Mayor 2023 1343, when did I silence anybody? Can you actually show proof, or do you want to keep saying stuff without any proof whatsoever? First off, Silver, it's ironic that you're asking for proof when your own behavior has repeatedly lacked evidence or any factual backing. The constant accusations and finger-pointing you've been throwing around are the same actions that led to this drama spiraling out of control in the first place. You can't demand proof from others when you refuse to provide any yourself. That's called hypocrisy. Now let's look at the reply from at Anakin episode IOIFN1000. 793. You silenced him when he wanted to explain from his heart. And comes back with this gem. I didn't silence anybody. You guys, on the other hand, deleted my video and claim you believe in freedom of speech. Like, that isn't blatant hypocrisy. So you think only he can criticize people, but when we do it back it should be deleted? Alright, Silver, let's address a few things here. First of all, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. If your video was removed, maybe it's because it crossed a line, and calling out someone's hypocrisy doesn't excuse your own actions. It sounds like you're trying to deflect from the issue at hand by shifting blame to others. You're accusing people of hypocrisy for deleting content, yet you've been actively part of this toxic cycle. Freedom of speech isn't a one-way street where you can dish out criticism but can't take it in return. If you're so concerned about being silenced, maybe you should take a moment to reflect on why people felt the need to take action against your content in the first place. And, let's not forget, you can't just say, we do it back, and think that justifies any behavior. If your criticisms are valid, present them with evidence and logic, not emotional outbursts and accusations. The way you've approached this makes it clear that you're more interested in fueling drama than actually resolving anything. Finally, to Cast Jupiter and others on my side in this thread, thank you for standing up and trying to bring some sense to this chaotic situation. I appreciate the support and the effort to hold these toxic individuals accountable. Alright, let's move forward and address the next set of screenshots. We're not done yet. Alright, here we go again with another comment from Silver. Let's read it out. At ABE Gamer 2023-1551. Are you going to show any proof or keep on reiterating the same exact points without proof because my side showed evidence? Alright, Silver, let me get this straight. You're accusing others of not showing proof, yet the only thing we've seen from your side is a bunch of repetitive claims and cherry-picked screenshots with no context. You keep throwing around the word evidence like it's some kind of shield to protect your arguments, but where's this so-called evidence? If your side actually had solid proof, you wouldn't need to keep pointing fingers and repeating the same lines over and over. Real evidence speaks for itself. It doesn't need to be dressed up with vague accusations or twisted narratives. So far, all I've seen from your side is a lot of noise and no substance. Also, let's talk about this phrase, my side showed evidence. Evidence of what, exactly? Because if we're talking about doctored screenshots or one-sided stories, that's not evidence. It's propaganda. You can't just slap the label evidence on something and expect people to take it at face value. And let's not forget, you're the one who keeps dodging accountability every time someone asks you for proof. You demand evidence from everyone else, but when it's your turn to provide it, suddenly the conversation shifts, or you disappear altogether. That's not how credibility works, Silver. If you or your side truly want to resolve anything, then bring forward real, verifiable proof. Links, videos, full conversations, the actual context, something that can't be easily dismissed. Until then, you're just spinning the same old narrative, hoping people will believe it if you say it enough times. Now, let's move on to the next comment, because I've got a lot more to say about this situation. Alright, another one from Silver. Let's read this. At ABEG Gamer 2023-1946. Like how y'all took down my video? The hypocrisy is killing me. Oh really, Silver? The hypocrisy is killing you? Let's unpack this statement because it's dripping with irony. First off, let's address this claim that y'all took down my video. Who exactly is y'all, Silver? Because I'm pretty sure you're lumping anyone who doesn't agree with you into one big conspiracy against you. If your video got taken down, there's usually a reason for it. Did it violate platform rules? Was it flagged for something inappropriate? Or are you just making assumptions without knowing the full story? Now, about this hypocrisy you're so upset about, let's talk about your own actions. You've been involved in harassing others, throwing accusations without proof, and fanning the flames of toxicity. And yet here you are, crying foul about your video being taken down, as if you're some innocent victim. Let me tell you, hypocrisy is calling out others while refusing to hold yourself accountable. Also, let's not forget that your so-called evidence often lacks context and conveniently paints your side as the victim. But when someone criticizes you or calls out your behavior, suddenly it's a problem. You talk about freedom of speech, but the moment someone exercises theirs against you, it's all hypocrisy and y'all are silencing me. If you want to claim the moral high ground, Silver, you need to start by practicing what you preach. Don't accuse others of silencing you. while you and your side are busy shutting down conversations, twisting narratives, and playing the victim. So here's some advice. Instead of wasting energy on comments like this, maybe focus on fixing your own behavior. Because until then, your cries of hypocrisy just don't hold any weight. Alright, let's move on to the next comment. Alright, here's another one from Silver. Let's read this at ABE Gamer 2023. Are you going to show any proof or keep on reiterating the same exact points without proof because my side showed evidence? Oh, here we go again with the my side showed evidence line. Silver, I think you've said this so many times that even you've started to believe it without actually questioning it. Let's break it down. First of all, what exactly is this so-called evidence your side has? Because every time someone asks for it, your proof ends up being vague screenshots taken out of context, cherry-picked comments, or accusations without solid backing. You're out here demanding proof from others while acting like whatever you say is gospel truth, just because it aligns with your narrative. Secondly, reiterating the same exact points? Oh, the irony. You've been singing the same tune this whole time. My side this, my side that. We showed evidence. But when it comes down to actually proving anything substantial, there's nothing. It's all smoke and mirrors. If anything, you're the one reiterating points without adding any new substance to the conversation. And let's be real, just because your side claims to show evidence doesn't mean it's legitimate. Evidence isn't just about throwing things out there and hoping they stick. It's about providing context, accuracy, and transparency. If your side is so confident about its proof, why does it always feel like you're hiding behind vague claims instead of presenting anything concrete? Silver, here's the thing. Accusations and proof are not the same. Saying my side showed evidence doesn't make it true unless you back it up. And if your evidence can't stand up to scrutiny, then maybe it's time to stop accusing others and start reevaluating what you're actually standing for. So until you can come up with something more solid, stop pointing fingers and demanding proof when your own arguments are built on shaky ground. Alright, moving on to the next comment. Alright, here's another one from Silver. Let's read it together. At ABE Gamer 2023 12:15. Oh wow, am I supposed to be scared, Silver? Seriously? What is this supposed to be? A sarcastic jab to make yourself look untouchable? Because honestly, it just makes you look like you're deflecting. Let's unpack this for a second. First off, no one said you're supposed to be scared. This isn't about fear, it's about accountability. When people bring up valid points or evidence against your behavior or your so-called side, you respond with snarky comments like this instead of actually addressing the issue. Why? Is it because you don't have a real counter-argument? Or is it just easier to act like none of this matters? Here's the thing, Silver. Sarcasm doesn't make the problem go away. It doesn't prove your point, and it certainly doesn't win you any credibility. If anything, it makes you look like you're avoiding the conversation entirely. And let's be real, you might not be scared, but you should at least be concerned. Because when people start calling out the toxic behavior in your group, it's not just baseless accusations. It's people standing up and saying, enough is enough. So instead of trying to brush it off with this am I supposed to be scared attitude, maybe you should actually listen for once. Look at what's being said, take responsibility for your part in this mess, and figure out how to move forward without all the deflecting and dismissing. Alright, let's keep going. Alright folks, so we're back again, and this time we're diving into the motherload of spam comments from Silver. Yeah, there's a lot here, but don't worry, I'm going to go through each one because someone needs to unpack this mess. Let's get started. First comment, 2021 LOL, oh wow, apparently I'm a predator, would you like to show proof? Silver, laughing emojis don't make you look any less guilty, and sarcasm isn't a defense. You are trying to brush off a serious accusation by mocking it, which doesn't exactly scream innocence. If you want people to believe you, bring receipts. Real ones. But no, you just spam sarcasm and hope that distracts everyone. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Next up, 1946, like how y'all took down my video. The hypocrisy is killing me. And here we go with the victim card again. Silver, if your video got taken down, it's probably because it violated some guidelines. And let's not forget how your side loves to report and flag other people's content whenever it doesn't suit your narrative. So, the real hypocrisy? It's right here in this comment. Moving on, 18.3, he doesn't owe me anything, right? But don't get upset at me for making my own videos then. I have the right to criticize you guys back as well. Your actions have consequences. Freedom of speech means I can criticize. Alright, let's break this one down. You claim freedom of speech, but you don't seem to understand what that actually means. Freedom of speech doesn't protect you from criticism, Silver. If you're going to dish it out, you'd better be ready to take it too. But here's the thing. You're not criticizing, you're harassing. Big difference. Now this one, 1631, somebody being ABOS isn't old news. What makes Frank a bad person but Alin good? They both are pedos and I showed proof for it, so how is something false if I showed proof for it? Oh, the irony. Silver, accusations like this are not something you throw around lightly. If you're going to call someone that, you better have concrete, undeniable evidence to back it up. But what do you bring to the table? Half-baked claims and out-of-context screenshots? That's not proof, it's slander. Yeah, we got that the official Vegas channel, aka Frank, is pedo. And Alin was been pedo, but that was a fucking long time. What happened is that Jerry and Darkblade decided to do same thing. That's why it's raised the suspicion that screenshot is fake and Discord account turns out to be an alt during the debate. But why it feels like you want to hunt down somebody on this drama. And honestly, dragging other names into this mess doesn't make your argument stronger, it just makes you look desperate. Next, 1551. Are you going to show any proof or keep on reiterating the same exact points without proof? Because my side showed evidence. Where is this evidence, Silver? Because I've seen nothing but vague claims and a lot of noise. If you're so confident in your so-called proof, show it. But until then, this is just more empty words. Now we've got 1444. I don't want to control anyone. All I asked for is genuine proof, and yet it's still not here. Wonder why. Silver, let me remind you, asking for proof doesn't automatically make you right. You're acting like some kind of referee in this situation, demanding evidence from others while conveniently ignoring the lack of credibility on your end. It's just another tactic to deflect from the real issues. And finally, 1343, when did I silence anybody? Can you actually show proof? Or do you want to keep saying stuff without any proof whatsoever? Oh, the irony here is too much. Silver, you're constantly trying to silence others by reporting their content, spamming their comment sections, and derailing conversations. So when you ask, when did I silence anybody? The answer is, all the time. You might want to take a long, hard look at your own actions before making claims like this. So there you have it, comment after comment, it's the same repetitive nonsense. Deflection, victim playing, and a complete lack of self-awareness. Silver, if you're watching this, let me give you some advice. If you want people to take you seriously, stop spamming, stop deflecting, and start addressing the actual points being made against you. Alright, let's keep going. There's more to cover. Well, at least people replied when Silver decided to play dumb instead of showing screenshots or verifying the evidence with a proper video recording. I mean, come on. Silver, if you're so confident in your claims, why not just show the receipts? But no, you keep demanding Cass and other people to bring the evidence to you as if that's their job. Here we go, Silver. I've uploaded all the evidence in this video that I'm recording right now. Take a moment. Pause the video. Take a good look. And maybe even listen for once. But let's make one thing clear. This debate has already begun, and it's not going in your favor. Now about Positive Persod, I've got nothing more to say to him. I've already told him to walk away from this mess, and focus on gathering more screenshots. Letting everyone see just how badly ABE has screwed up. You know, for someone who claims to care about facts, your comments and replies don't make a shred of sense. All you do is go around starting shit with people, wasting your time, and refusing to show any evidence for whatever you're desperately trying to hide. And let's talk about who you've been associating with. Grown-ups like Darkblade and others who are just as toxic, constantly trying to defend each other. Here's the thing, Silver, aligning yourself with people like that doesn't make you a victim. If anything, it makes you look even more complicit. You want evidence, Silver. Maybe you should start by reaching out to people who are actually trusted and credible. You know, the kind of people who don't spam comment sections or twist narratives to fit their agenda. Because here's the hard truth. If you'd done that from the beginning, this whole mess could have been avoided. But no, you chose to double down on your nonsense, and now look where we are. But let's not forget your hypocrisy. You go on and on about freedom of speech, yet you're the first one to try and silence others by reporting their videos, flagging their comments, or straight up gaslighting them. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences, Silver. If you can't handle the heat, maybe you shouldn't be stirring the pot in the first place. Let me tell you what this really looks like. You're running out of moves, so you're trying to create distractions. Oh, look over here, I'm the victim! Sorry, but no one's buying it. Your actions are on full display, and your repeated attempts to dodge accountability only make it worse. You see, the problem here isn't just your comments or your lack of evidence. It's the fact that you're willing to drag others into this mess just to deflect from your own failures. And let me be very clear about something. This kind of behavior doesn't just hurt you. It hurts everyone who's genuinely trying to resolve this situation and move on. So here's my advice. Stop wasting your time spamming nonsense. If you truly have something to say, back it up with facts, not just words. And if you don't, then maybe it's time to step back and think about why you're so invested in stirring up drama in the first place. At the end of the day, this isn't about you, Silver. It's about making sure situations like this don't happen again. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're just adding to the problem. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep digging yourself deeper, or are you finally going to grow up and face the truth? First of all, let me get this out of the way. Accusing someone of being a pedo defender is a massive claim, and you've made that accusation without a shred of actual evidence. You're not looking for the truth, and you're certainly not trying to resolve anything for the betterment of anyone involved in the ABE community. Instead, you're throwing around baseless accusations that serve no purpose other than to stir up drama, and paint me in the worst light possible. Second, let's address this so-called underage girl situation you keep bringing up. There isn't an underage girl involved in this at all. If you're referring to Tangle, yes, let's clarify who Tangle is. He isn't even female, he's just another member of the Sonic community who got dragged into drama attacking people. Look, people like you can't be bothered to verify facts before starting a witch hunt. Your narrative is completely falling apart because it's built on lies, half-truths, and pure speculation. Third, of course most of my sub-base reported your video. It all contains bullshit, and that video is completely from the past. To update the situation, I must take those screenshots and move it here to address all of those mess instead of talking against per sod. If your video got taken down, that's on you. Maybe it violated some platform rules, or maybe someone else took issue with it. Don't act like I have time to waste filing reports against every video criticizing me. It's ironic because I've seen plenty of content aimed at me and I've let it slide. Why? Because I believe in freedom of speech. But freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to lie, defame, and spread falsehoods about people without any proof. It's pretty much got you what you deserved, but you need to stop messing up with other people. You've already had step in the wrong place, and that's exactly you need to step down for once. You love to play the victim here, pretending that I'm somehow afraid of your so-called truth. The reality is, I'm not afraid of anything you have to say, because you don't have the full story, and you refuse to get it. If you really cared about the truth, you'd take a step back and realize that all this drama you're fueling is doing more harm than good. Now let me ask you something, Silver. What do you really gain from all of this? Does trying to drag my name through the mud give you some sense of satisfaction or superiority? Does it make you feel like you're winning some imaginary war? Because in the end, all you're doing is destroying your credibility and making the community even more toxic. Do you really gain anything by worth it if I gave the community even more pop color again? Does it make you feel like you're winning some imaginary war? Because in the end, all you're doing is destroying your credibility and making the community even more toxic. If you truly cared about the ABE community, you wouldn't be pulling stunts like this. Let me give you some advice, Silver. Instead of throwing baseless accusations around and crying foul whenever you don't get your way, try having a proper conversation. Try gathering real evidence, presenting it calmly, and actually making an effort to resolve things like an adult. If you're unwilling to do that, then don't be surprised when people stop taking you seriously. Finally, I don't need to justify myself to you or anyone else. My actions and intentions have always been focused on making things right for the sake of everyone else involved. So if you're not going to approach this situation constructively, don't expect me to waste any more time on you. And just so we're clear, if you make another video, make sure it's based on facts, not lies. Otherwise, you'll just be digging yourself a deeper hole. Let me ask you something, Silver. Why are you willingly associating yourself with people who are known to groom others and manipulate them to push their own agenda? Do you even realize what you're getting yourself into, or are you so blinded by your need for validation and support that you'll team up with anyone who's willing to back you up, no matter how questionable their actions are? Let me break it down for you. Associating with people like that isn't just a bad look, it's dangerous. You're aligning yourself with individuals who have proven time and time again that they don't care about anyone but themselves. They'll use you for their own benefit, and when you're no longer useful, they'll throw you under the bus without a second thought. Do you really think these people have your back? Do you think they care about your so-called truth? Or are they just using you as a pawn in their own toxic games? And let's consider the long-term consequences here. What happens when their actions catch up with them? What happens when the community finally realizes who these people really are? Do you think they'll only face the consequences of their behavior? Or do you think some of that fallout will hit you too? Spoiler alert, it will. Because by associating with them, you're effectively endorsing their actions, whether you realize it or not. And what's next for you, Silver? Are you going to let this spiral further out of control? Are you going to keep aligning yourself with people who are known to exploit and harm others, even when the evidence is right in front of you? Because let me tell you something, once you cross that line, there is no going back. People won't just question your judgment, they'll start to question your character. If you're okay with being labeled as someone who willingly associates with predators and enablers, then fine, that's your choice. But don't expect people to respect you for it. Don't expect the community to see you as a credible figure when you're aligning yourself with the very people who are tearing it apart. So here's my advice. Take a good, hard look at the people you're surrounding yourself with. Ask yourself if they're really worth defending. Ask yourself if their actions align with the kind of person you want to be. Because if you keep going down this path, you're not just tarnishing your own reputation, you're actively contributing to the toxicity and harm they're causing. At the end of the day, you have a choice to make. You can keep siding with people who have no regard for the truth or the well-being of others, or you can take a stand and start holding yourself to a higher standard. The question is, what kind of person do you want to be, and what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Because right now, Silver, you're heading down a road that leads to nothing but regret and self-destruction. It's up to you to decide if that's really the path you want to take. To think you act like such a smartass, as if you know everything. The truth is, some people are ready to step away and move on to different communities. Ones that are far healthier than anything the ABE community has ever been. I may not be a fan of Angry Birds, but even I can see how your kind of behavior, messed up jokes, decide to help people and to believe those screenshots aren't impersonations, and God knows what else in front of children, is the exact kind of thing that gets people banned. And don't think for a second that everyone's going to forgive you. People see through this nonsense, and eventually they'll make the decisions they need to, whether you like it or not. Here's an idea, maybe you should start by apologizing to everyone you disrespected, take a good hard look in the mirror and stop acting like a complete idiot. Learn from your mistakes instead of doubling down and proving Cass right when he says you're nothing but a motherfucking offensive noisemaker. Do you even realize how embarrassing it is to watch you crumble under the weight of your own arrogance? If you actually took criticism like a man, then maybe, just maybe, there would be a chance to settle things. But as it stands, you're digging your own grave, that's all I have to say. Take this criticism and do something with it, or stay where you are and deal with the consequences. Your move. Alright, now we're going to move forward and dive into the final set of screenshots. These screenshots tell the last part of the story I've been wanting to address for some time. But before we do, let me just say this. This isn't about holding grudges or stirring up drama for no reason. It's about putting everything out there so we can highlight the bigger issue, the toxicity that has plagued the ABE community for far too long. So let's take a look at these screenshots and get into why things need to improve. Alright then, before we jump into this, I just want to make one thing clear. I have nothing to do with Persad, and I don't want anyone going after him or threatening him. We're not going down that road, alright? If Persad is still up to some messed up stuff, maybe it's time he gets some help instead of just attacking everybody who comes near him. I don't know what's going on in his head, but that's his problem to sort out, not ours. But anyways, I get it. People are frustrated. I understand why. There's a lot of history with this, and I know some of you have had your issues with him. We all have, trust me. But that's in the past, and while it's important to recognize where we came from, it's more important to focus on where we're going. And right now, what I want to emphasize is that this kind of behavior, attacking people, stirring up drama, making things toxic, should not have a place in the new ABE community server. It's supposed to be a space where we can all come together, share ideas, collaborate, and have a good time. When we start letting people push their personal grudges onto others or make the place hostile, that just ruins everything, and let's be real, Discord servers aren't the place for that. We've all seen what happens when we let things get out of hand, and we've been through enough of it already. We don't need more chaos. So if Persod is still involved in anything sketchy, that's a separate issue. We handle things the right way, we don't just go and attack. If you have a problem with him or anyone else, bring it up privately. Handle it like adults. But just because we had drama in the past doesn't mean we let it destroy the space we've built. This ABE community server is about being positive, supporting each other, and keeping things respectful. The minute we let one person or a few people mess that up, we all lose. Look, I'm not here to be the good guy or the bad guy. I'm just trying to make sure we're moving forward and not repeating the same mistakes. So, no more threats, no more personal attacks. If you're here to make things better, then great, let's work together. But if you're here to keep fueling the fire, maybe this isn't the right place for you. So, let's keep things cool, keep it clean, and move forward like we should. Alright? Alright then, before we jump into this, I just want to make one thing clear. I have nothing to do with Persod, and I don't want anyone going after him or threatening him. We're not going down that road, alright? If Persod is still up to some messed up stuff, maybe it's time he gets some help instead of just attacking everybody who comes near him. I don't know what's going on in his head, but that's his problem to sort out, not ours. But anyways, I get it. People are frustrated. I understand why. There's a lot of history with this, and I know some of you have had your issues with him. We all have, trust me. But that's in the past, and while it's important to recognize where we came from, it's more important to focus on where we're going. And right now, what I want to emphasize is that this kind of behavior, attacking people, stirring up drama, making things toxic, should not have a place in the new ABE community server. It's supposed to be a space where we can all come together, share ideas, collaborate, and have a good time. When we start letting people push their personal grudges onto others or make the place hostile, that just ruins everything, and let's be real, Discord servers aren't the place for that. We've all seen what happens when we let things get out of hand, and we've been through enough of it already. We don't need more chaos. So if Persod is still involved in anything sketchy, that's a separate issue. We handle things the right way, we don't just go and attack. If you have a problem with him or anyone else, bring it up privately. Handle it like adults. But just because we had drama in the past doesn't mean we let it destroy the space we've built. This ABE community server is about being positive, supporting each other, and keeping things respectful. The minute we let one person or a few people mess that up, we all lose. Look, I'm not here to be the good guy or the bad guy. I'm just trying to make sure we're moving forward and not repeating the same mistakes. So, no more threats, no more personal attacks. If you're here to make things better, then great, let's work together. But if you're here to keep fueling the fire, maybe this isn't the right place for you. So, let's keep things cool, keep it clean, and move forward like we should. Alright? This screenshot is pretty much fucked up, but just as some lowlife out there going on this community to just spread bullshit around. I get those people made a bunch of mistakes, but they should do something better than messing around. For now we got this motherfucker Green Jay.
Shit! Oh shit!
Yeah, at least no one's gonna forgive you for doing some fuck up shit on the internet. You think somebody else was gonna help you? Well no, you've already been banned from ABE Community entirely. Now let's go for the next one. Anyways, saying some stuff as jokes isn't funny. Let me make one thing absolutely clear. There are lines that you just don't cross. The kind of jokes I've seen some of you throw around, especially in front of children, or even outside of the community, are not just inappropriate, they're disgusting. Let me remind you, the impact of your words doesn't disappear just because you intended them as a joke. If you think you can act like this without consequences, you're sorely mistaken. Keep going down this path and you'll find yourself being seen as no better than those who cross some of the worst boundaries like pedophiles. And let's be real here, you don't want that label attached to your name, so don't give anyone a reason to think it. Now, moving on to another issue, doxing. Somebody brought this up recently, and frankly, it's suspicious as hell. Let me spell this out for anyone who doesn't get it. Doxing is a serious crime. When you're taking someone's private information and sharing it online, you're not just being petty or trying to get back at someone. You're breaking the law. And honestly, the fact that people are even considering this as an option to win arguments or settle drama is proof that this community has some serious problems to address. If you think doxing someone makes you look tough or in control, let me tell you right now, it doesn't. It makes you look desperate and pathetic, and it's only a matter of time before you get caught. Speaking of people doing shady stuff, let's talk about Hank, better known as Dream. For those of you who don't know, Dream decided to step down from his so-called hacking activities, which should have never started in the first place. He even went as far as to show me how he did it using Python programs. I told him straight up, if you ever try something like that again, it's not going to end well for you. You're not some untouchable genius because you can run scripts. You're someone who's playing with fire. And let me warn you, hacking isn't some harmless prank or a flex to show off your skills. It's illegal, and it comes with real consequences. Jail or prison isn't just a possibility. It's a guarantee if you keep heading down that road. And you know what's even worse? This whole hacking mindset has this ripple effect where people think it's okay to exploit others, dig into their personal lives, and mess with their privacy. It's not okay. Ever. And for the people enabling this kind of behavior, you're just as much to blame. You're fostering an environment where this nonsense can thrive. And for what? To feel powerful? To get a cheap laugh? Grow up. You're not just hurting the people you target, you're poisoning the entire community. At the end of the day, this all comes down to accountability. If you've been part of this kind of behavior, whether it's making inappropriate jokes, doxing, hacking, or just standing by and letting it happen, it's time to take a hard look at yourself. Stop making excuses, stop shifting the blame, own up to what you've done, and start making amends. And if you're someone who's been hurt by this, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are people here who want to make things better, and we're not going to stop until we do. This community can be something great. It can be a space where people come together, share ideas, and have fun. But that's only going to happen if we all commit to doing better. Toxicity, harassment, and illegal behavior have no place here, and the sooner we start cutting it out, the better off we'll all be. So, to anyone still clinging to this toxic mindset, it's time to grow up, take some responsibility, and move forward. Because if you don't, the consequences are waiting for you. That's all I've got to say. The ball's in your court now. Make the right choice. I'm not as stupid as you are, but if you actually wanted peace, you wouldn't be acting like a pain in the ass by resorting to doxing, Hank. That kind of crap only proves how desperate and reckless you are. Grow up and handle things the right way, not like this. Actually, the so-called roasting gang is nothing more than a group of disgusting people who think standing up for negativity makes them cool. All the offensive means, racist slurs, and using bots to impersonate others, like Alin, just to make it seem like a joke, or throwing around homophobic or ableist remarks is downright appalling. Jesus Christ, have some decency. In my server, we don't tolerate garbage like that because it creates nothing but toxicity and hate. If you think that behavior is acceptable, then you're part of the problem. People need to realize that actions like this only harm communities and drive away anyone who actually wants to contribute something positive. So let me make it clear. There's no room for this nonsense in a place where respect and accountability should matter. Anyway, the following video clip is something I screen recorded when I managed to sneak into their Discord server to expose someone going by the name of Chair. And honestly, the whole thing was a mess. It was pretty obvious that the voice being used was just AI generated. They were probably using some kind of voice cloning or similar tech from a website. It's not even surprising at this point, but it's clear that most AI voice models can't fully mimic or pass as real people without sounding off. So, let's dive into this clip and break it down. Let's see what kind of nonsense they've been trying to pull with this fake-ass setup.
Save me, naked woman. Save me.
Alin, did you just say save me, naked woman?
No, it was Chair.
It wasn't me, I didn't say that.
Oh, it kind of sounded like you said that, Alin.
But was I confused?
You know, this kind of thing is genuinely disturbing, and it's way worse than anything we've seen from Darkblade. Now don't worry, that's all in the past. But I have every right to address this because if we want the ABE community to improve, we need to face these issues head on. Ignoring them or sweeping them under the rug isn't going to solve anything. We're talking about creating a space that's not driven by toxicity, immaturity, or reckless behavior. People need to understand that actions like spreading offensive memes, throwing around slurs, or pulling stunts to impersonate others aren't just harmful. They're the reason communities fall apart. If we want to move forward and build something meaningful, then accountability and self-awareness are key. So, let's lay it all out and make it clear, this isn't just about calling out individuals. It's about setting the standard for what this community should be. Change doesn't happen by staying silent, and that's why I'm speaking out. And you should take some responsibility for it. Now let's go to the following screenshot. Well, this person is nothing more than an aggressive asshole who's clearly desperate for attention, and because of that, it's caused some of Alan's friends to go after him. Meanwhile, AB2 boss Blitzer keeps obsessively replying to Alan's comments non-stop like he's got nothing better to do. Blitzer seems to think he's entitled to Alan's time or attention, but when I straight up told him to stop, he acted like a mindless bitch-ass moron throwing a temper tantrum. He genuinely believes he's standing up for justice or some noble cause. What are you, a social justice warrior? Do you think harassing people and being an annoying pain in the ass is how you fix things? You've got it all wrong, Blitzer. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at his community post and see what kind of nonsense he's spewing now. Alright, let's get into this nonsense that AB2 boss Blitzer decided to spew all over his community tab. First of all, this guy starts off saying he wasn't going to involve himself in drama anymore, but then, surprise surprise, here he is. Typical, right? He claims, I played with fire. No, Blitzer, what happened is you got caught being a loudmouth, attention-seeking hypocrite, and now you're trying to flip the script like you're some victim here. Let's break this mess down. He says he saw some guy named Alin Tecsan commenting somewhere and heard some pretty messed up stuff about Hossif. So naturally, he goes full hero complex and warns Alin to stay away. Sure, Blitzer, because you're such a reliable source of moral authority. And then, in the same breath, he admits to getting a little angry. A little angry? No, dude, you went full on aggressive clown mode, throwing accusations left and right like you were trying to win some internet crusader badge. Oh, and then there's the real kicker. He had the nerve to call me out, claiming I was glazing Alin, whatever the hell that means, and threatening him because I said there'd be consequences for his actions. Yeah, Blitzer, consequences. Like being held accountable for your endless bullshit. You don't get to harass people and then cry wolf when someone calls you out, and then you throw out the most ridiculous accusation that I support predators. What even is this? He's just throwing out buzzwords now to rile people up, like a wannabe internet vigilante with no receipts. And let's talk about his logic. He says the so-called predators he's referring to are 15 plus 18-year-olds and 14. He's giving details that most people are familiar with, but he's basing this lie on actual statistics from the government. That's 15 to 18-year-olds. Really, Blitzer? You're equating teenagers doing dumb things with actual predatory behavior? You're either incredibly stupid or you're deliberately manipulating this narrative to make yourself look like some savior of minors. Either way, it's pathetic. Then he claims he tried to work this shit out with me on Discord. Oh yeah, because having a conversation with you is such a pleasant experience. According to him, I was supposedly ignoring him and timing him out for no reason. No reason? Dude, your entire presence is a reason. You spam, you yell, you throw tantrums, and you expect people to sit there and listen to you like you're making some grand speech? Nah, we don't have time for that. And then comes his big freedom of speech argument. To be honest, get my name right. It's Magnus, not Mangus. You think freedom of speech means you can go around harassing people, making false accusations, and stirring up drama without consequences? That's not how it works, buddy. And the funniest part? He accuses me of making accusations without evidence. Meanwhile, where's your evidence, Blitzer? You haven't shown a shred of proof to back up anything you're saying. Oh, and let's not skip over his little 27-year-old soy boy, Beta, likes jerking to minors. Really, Blitzer, that's the best you've got? Insults that sound like they came straight out of some edgy 2015 YouTube comment section? Grow up, man. You're just exposing how immature and desperate for attention you really are. And then, of course, he doubles down on calling me a hypocrite. Blitzer, let's get one thing straight. You're the one who keeps dragging this drama out. You're the one making long-ass community posts pretending to be the voice of reason while simultaneously throwing a fit like a toddler who didn't get his toy. You're not some righteous truth-teller. You're just a bitter little man clinging to any ounce of relevance you can find. The cherry on top? He's asking his viewers to spread awareness. Spread awareness of what? Your inability to handle criticism? Your addiction to drama? Blitzer, the only thing people are becoming aware of is how much of a joke you've turned yourself into. So here's the deal, Blitzer. Take a long, hard look in the mirror. You're not a hero. You're not standing up for justice. You're just a bitter, loudmouth troll with nothing better to do than stir up drama and call it fighting for freedom of speech. Maybe it's time you take your own advice and actually stay out of the drama, because every time you open your mouth, all you do is dig yourself deeper into this hole of irrelevance. And for everyone watching, don't let guys like Blitzer fool you. They'll scream freedom of speech and justice while using those terms as a shield for their toxic behavior. Don't fall for it, hold them accountable, and don't let their noise drown out the truth, because no matter how much those toxic people, and possibly some of the victims, keep trying to stir things up, the situation still needs to be settled differently. We can't keep dragging this out. It's time to move on before everyone ends up fighting each other. Because people like them will always do everything in their power to manipulate the situation and get everyone on their side. It's all just a game to them. Chasing likes, views, or support to feed their own egos. They don't care about the damage they cause or the trust they destroy in the process. What's even worse is how they shut others down, especially the victims. They twist the narrative so that no one believes or trusts the ones who actually need to be heard. The victims don't even get a chance to speak their truth, because the focus is always on the ones making the loudest noise. At the end of the day, the only thing they care about is themselves and their popularity. They don't care about resolving the issues or helping anyone. It's all about maintaining their image. That's the harsh truth. I'm not here to accuse anyone, and I'm not here to fight anyone. I've had to make this video for many reasons, and for the sake of everyone involved. Everyone deserves a chance to learn from their mistakes and grow, including those who've made some serious errors. This isn't about dragging anyone down or pointing fingers, it's about making sure we don't repeat the same mistakes, and that we all get the chance to move forward in a better direction. People have been hurt in this mess, and that needs to be acknowledged. But, at the same time, holding on to anger and resentment only keeps the cycle going. It's time to break that cycle, face the truth, and find a way to resolve things without it becoming another battleground. The goal here is clarity, understanding, and moving on. Alright, first things first, I've been hearing a lot of accusations and I'll address them here, clearly and calmly. AB2 boss Blitzer wants to make it seem like I've been causing trouble for over a year. Well, here's the thing. If you keep bringing up the same issues and causing more chaos, it doesn't just go away. I didn't start this conflict, but I sure as hell have tried to resolve it, despite what some people would like to believe. Yeah, I made some podcasts, but they weren't meant to attack anyone personally. They were about addressing the ongoing drama. If anyone took them as a personal attack, I get it, but that wasn't the intent. As for this claim about me attacking people for no reason, let's get something straight. I've never made false accusations without proof. If I've said something, it's because I've seen it, I've heard it, and I've been involved in it. I'm not going to sit here and let lies spread without calling them out, especially when they affect others. I'm not here for attention. I'm here because I've seen enough harm done by this ongoing mess and it needs to stop. Now, this whole thing about me being a grown man, picking on people younger than me, I'm not here to fight or bully anyone. I'm speaking out because I want to end the toxicity, not create more. And honestly, if anyone wants to push this narrative that I'm out here hurting people, they need to take a look at their own actions, and how they've contributed to keeping this drama alive. Lastly, to AB2 Boss Blitzer and anyone else who's been caught in the crossfire, if you think the best way to handle things is to keep pushing hate, that's on you. But know this. I'm done with the fighting. It's time to move on, grow up, and leave the past behind. So, to anyone who's been affected, let's just try to close this chapter and actually learn something from it instead of dragging it out. And to be honest, how is this personal attack? Why not show me some evidence for it? And to be honest, if you don't make things clear, then you will still remain blocked until you owe people an apology. That's the reason why people like you needs to have to get some help and learn things from their mistakes. Alright, here we go again. I'm not surprised that this keeps going, but let me clear a few things up, especially for anyone who's listening to this and trying to make sense of it all. First off, calling me a so-boy or throwing childish insults isn't going to change anything. It just makes it clear you have nothing constructive to say. If that's your way of trying to make a point, fine. But it's not helping your case or anyone else's. So keep that in mind. Now, as for the hypocrite accusation, let's break it down. You say I'm criticizing people without evidence? I don't throw accusations out there without facts to back them up. If I've said something, it's because there's something to back it up. I've been involved in this mess long enough to know who's doing what and why things are getting out of hand. And if you think it's harassment to call out bad behavior, that's where we're clearly not seeing eye to eye. When I give criticism, it's about addressing issues. It's not a personal attack, and it's not meant to make anyone feel worthless. You're right about one thing. I don't tolerate false claims, especially when they harm people. That's why I've been vocal about it. But when the tables are turned and you think it's okay to throw criticism my way or Alan's way with no real evidence, that's where it crosses a line. You call it criticism, I call it an attack. Based on unfounded assumptions and drama, there's a difference, and it's important to recognize that. And by the way, just because I'm older doesn't mean I'm out here trying to harass younger people. I've got no interest in causing harm or sending death threats, like you're claiming. If you want to keep pushing that narrative, feel free. But let's be real, if you're still holding on to these outdated arguments, you're only contributing to the problem, not the solution. Lastly, about this suicidal talk shit show, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it's a low blow. I've never wished harm on anyone. If you want to believe I'm somehow plotting to destroy people's lives, that's your choice. But it's not true. We're all better off if we just stop the drama and stop picking fight at each other. It doesn't matter who's insulting each other, so how about we end this now? It's honestly been enough. Alright, here we go again. I'm not surprised that this keeps going, but let me clear a few things up, especially for anyone who's listening to this and trying to make sense of it all. First off, calling me a soboy or throwing childish insults isn't going to change anything. It just makes it clear you have nothing constructive to say. If that's your way of trying to make a point, fine, but it's not helping your case or anyone else's. So keep that in mind. Now, as for the hypocrite accusation, let's break it down. You say I'm criticizing people without evidence? I don't throw accusations out there without facts to back them up. If I've said something, it's because there's something to back it up. I've been involved in this mess long enough to know who's doing what and why things are getting out of hand. And if you think it's harassment to call out bad behavior, that's where we're clearly not seeing eye to eye. When I give criticism, it's about addressing issues. It's not a personal attack, and it's not meant to make anyone feel worthless. You're right about one thing. I don't tolerate false claims, especially when they harm people. That's why I've been vocal about it. But when the tables are turned and you think it's okay to throw criticism my way or Alan's way with no real evidence, that's where it crosses a line. You call it criticism, I call it an attack. Based on unfounded assumptions and drama, there's a difference, and it's important to recognize that. And by the way, just because I'm older doesn't mean I'm out here trying to harass younger people. I've got no interest in causing harm or sending death threats, like you're claiming. If you want to keep pushing that narrative, feel free. But let's be real, if you're still holding on to these outdated arguments, you're only contributing to the problem, not the solution. Lastly, about this suicidal talk shit show, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it's a low blow. I've never wished harm on anyone. If you want to believe I'm somehow plotting to destroy people's lives, that's your choice. But it's not true. We're all better off if we just stop the drama and stop picking fight at each other. It doesn't matter who's insulting each other, so how about we end this now? It's honestly been enough. Get your words right. And for the record, that guy is Joseph, and nothing compares to me. Don't think for a second that I'm doing this for my own gain. I'm not out here fighting for personal benefit. This is for everyone else's sake. If you actually take a moment to look around and search for commentary on things like art theft, predators attacking children, or exposing harmful behavior, you'll see why people are standing up. They're doing it because it matters. They're standing up not for their own selfish reasons, but because they see the bigger picture just like I do. I'm doing this because it's the right thing, not because I need attention or validation. It's for the sake of everyone involved, and if you can't see that, then maybe it's time to look at your own intentions. Because honestly, trying to tear people down for no reason, that's the real narcissism. You can act like this is all about you, but it's not. This is about calling out the truth and doing it for the right reasons. They want peace. They wanted to help their friends and people move on from all the massive mess they've caused, but instead of letting that happen, you keep stoking the fire. I have to wonder how your parents raised you so badly, treating you like a puppet to destroy people and stir up more conflict. It's a pattern I've seen time and time again, especially with people using their autism as an excuse to get away with causing harm. It's not an excuse, it's a crutch that lets people avoid responsibility for their actions. You want to talk about people making progress? Alistair's got a job. We all gonna move on once those shits are over, whether this situation is under control. But you've got way too many issues with your temper, and you push people under pressure without even giving them a chance to talk. You just scream over them. Honestly, it looks like you're standing up for some twisted version of social justice, one that's built on hate speech and trying to dethrone people instead of lifting others up. You don't care about people who have been negatively influenced by others, you're just using this whole situation to further your own agenda. That's what this is about. Your own benefit, not the well-being of anyone involved. If Per saw that and changed his ways, maybe, If he asked you to stop attacking people, none of this would have even happened. But here we are, and you're still stuck in the cycle. Do you want to know what could happen since this video's already been published? You will be fucked. People are going to see the consequences unfold, and they're not going to sit back and let this slide. They'll go to every social media platform they can find, speaking the truth about these toxic people and making sure everything gets addressed. These people have skills that can protect others, including children, and they're not going to let these fake accusations slide anymore. They can verify evidence, call out fake screenshots, and expose the manipulations that these toxic people have been spreading. We all know that people like this do things for attention, trying to get others on their side by spreading lies and creating false narratives. But here's the thing, after this video, it's done. It's over. The victims, those who've been affected, are going to stand up. They'll make sure they've got their voices heard, and they'll choose who they trust to help them take action. If those victims don't know what to do, I'll be there to guide them, because blaming themselves won't get them anywhere. It's not their fault. It's never their fault. The truth is, no one's going to be on your side in this situation. No matter how much you try, no matter what you do, the continuation of impersonation and spreading lies isn't going to fly anymore. This cycle of toxic behavior won't be tolerated. The new ABE community stands strong against this, and they're done with bad influences. As for those toxic people and predators still caught up in this mess, it's only a matter of time before they turn on each other. They'll either break apart or continue in this endless cycle of manipulation until it all finally catches up with them. And when it does, they're going to lose everything. Friends, family, respect. Everything. In real life, this will follow them. They'll lose the trust of people they care about, and eventually they'll be exposed for who they really are. There's a chance you could end up facing serious consequences. You could get taken down in the real world, arrested for your actions, and you might end up in prison for the things you've done. Especially if these victims lose their lives because of the narcissist causing all this harm. You're playing with fire, and it's going to burn your content and those things that you did in the end. Doxing is illegal, and trying to defend or support people who are behind these actions won't save you. Even if you didn't directly do these things, standing by them and allowing them to continue, that makes you just as complicit, and when everything comes to light, you'll be the one left with the fallout. There's no point in trying to avenge people who have already been taken care of, or have stepped down from the situation. Revenge isn't the answer, and no one is going to take your false accusations seriously unless you can provide legitimate, verified evidence. Things like screen recordings, real screenshots, or direct links that actually prove what you're claiming. Without that, your words mean nothing. You've already shown your true colors, and everyone can see right through your attempts to twist the narrative. That's why you're so focused on trying to silence Alistair or anyone else who's involved in this situation. You don't want the truth coming out because you know it'll expose you and the lies you've been spreading. But here's the reality. The more you try to control the situation, the worse it's going to get for you. People aren't stupid. They can see the difference between facts and fabrications. Your attempts to bury others and manipulate the narrative only make you look desperate. If you think shutting people down or censoring the truth is going to protect you, you're dead wrong. The truth has a way of coming out, and when it does, it won't be me or anyone else you need to worry about. It'll be the consequences of your own actions. You've dug this hole for yourself, and no amount of lies or blame shifting will get you out of it. Instead of clinging to this toxic cycle, maybe take a step back and reflect on what you're actually doing here. Are you helping anyone? Are you solving anything? Or are you just feeding into the chaos and making everything worse? The choice is yours, but don't think for a second that people aren't watching and taking note. I'm not obligated to delete this video, and none of these clips will ever get removed. This video exists for a reason, to address the lies, the manipulation, and the toxic behavior that's been allowed to go on for far too long. Removing it would mean erasing the truth, and that's not something I'm willing to do. You might not like what's being said, but that doesn't make it any less valid. The evidence is here, the facts are here, and people deserve to see the full picture. Hiding the truth, pretending it didn't happen, or sweeping it under the rug only enables the same harmful cycle to continue, and I won't be part of that. If you're upset about this video, maybe take a moment to think about why. Is it because you're being called out? Is it because the truth doesn't fit the narrative you've been trying to sell? Or is it because you know deep down that what's being said here hits too close to home? This video isn't about revenge or trying to humiliate anyone. It's about accountability. It's about making sure people see what's really been going on and empowering them to stand up against toxic behavior. Think about it if you want to look up and find out for yourself. Then fine, take a moment to watch and listen, and come back when you are proving yourself wrong. So no, this video isn't going any, and if you think threatening or pressuring me will change that, you're wasting your time. The truth doesn't bend to convenience, and neither do I. The only way forward is to face reality, accept responsibility, and learn from the mistakes that have been made. I'm not here to silence anyone, but I also won't let lies and deceit go unchecked. If you want this situation to improve, it starts with honesty and accountability, not with trying to force people to stay quiet. Well, here it goes for the next screenshots. Take a good look, because what you're about to see will show how low some of these people are willing to go. First off, you'll notice that Nectinez has been using bots to impersonate Alin. And it doesn't stop there. Another person has been doing the same thing. Sure, they might have called it a joke back in the past, but let's be real. It stopped being funny a long time ago, especially once things went too far. And these so-called jokes, they're disgusting. For instance, in one of the streams, someone drew some obscene garbage. It's honestly vile. One of them even had the nerve to draw a naked picture of a female character. What's even worse is how they passed it off as humor. It's not funny, it's just offensive. There's also this narrative going around where Alin is being accused of being an animal abuser. To be fair, Alin is not an animal abuser. That's just another baseless claim these idiots are pushing to smear him. And then there's this other guy, Safwan, who's apparently associated with another one of Alin's imposters. I'm not entirely sure who that imposter is. It might be Darkblade, or maybe that Jerry person who got caught alongside Darkblade. But one thing's for sure, this isn't the real Alin we're talking about. It's just another sock puppet account being used to stir up drama. Oh, and the argument doesn't end there. They're still going at it with these dumb anime jokes and offensive garbage. But let me draw your attention to this next screenshot. The screenshot itself is obviously fake, but the conversation shown within it, that part is real. And no, Alin never said any racist slurs like the N-word. Whoever faked that screenshot should never be allowed back into any Discord server. If you're still skeptical, here's the proof. That so-called evidence is nothing more than a bot they've been using to gain attention and create chaos. It's pathetic, really. These people will stop at nothing to keep their nonsense alive, but the truth always finds a way out. Now, we've already had every evidence to back them up for now. Then, capitalist manipulation has now become skyrocketing. We talked about this before, but Twitter has finally decided to protect it. Alright, so let me address everything that's already been covered in this video before we wrap things up. First of all, let me just say this. I've put all of this out here not because I enjoy stirring the pot or keeping this drama alive, but because these issues need to be addressed once and for all. We've seen how some people have been using fake evidence, impersonating others, and creating bots to fuel their agenda. However, whether it's Nectunez using bots to impersonate Alin or others like Safwan associating with fake accounts to cause chaos, the intent has always been the same: to mislead people, create unnecessary arguments, and push a false narrative. Let's not forget the disgusting behavior that's been exposed here, like drawing obscene pictures or making offensive jokes that cross every line of decency. And yet these same people have the audacity to claim that it's all just humor. No, it's not. There's a difference between joking around and being outright disrespectful and toxic. And then we have the false accusations being thrown around. Alin being labeled an animal abuser is just one of many examples of how far some people are willing to go to discredit someone. It's all based on fake screenshots, edited conversations, and outright lies. What's worse is that some of these people think they can get away with it by hiding behind their jokes or claiming it's all a misunderstanding. Let me be clear, none of this is okay. The real issue here isn't just about one person or one group, it's about the toxic cycle these individuals keep fueling. They create drama, stir up chaos, and then play the victim when they're called out for it. And the saddest part? They drag others into their mess, even those who want no part in it, just to keep their narrative alive. Now, I've made this video not just to expose what's been going on, but also to send a message to everyone involved in this nonsense, whether you're actively stirring the pot or just enabling it by staying silent. You need to take a hard look at yourselves and ask if this is who you want to be. You're trying to incentivize instability in the people you've trained to fight, You use your power to incentivize it. Do you really want to be remembered as someone who tears others down for no reason, or as someone who stands up for what's right? Here's the thing. If anyone out there has done something wrong, whether it was intentional or not, and you're genuinely sorry for it, then take this as an opportunity to change. Apologies mean nothing without actions to back them up. If you've hurt someone, own up to it and make things right. And if you've been wronged, learn to forgive and move forward. Holding on to grudges and revenge will only make things worse. But let me also make this crystal clear, just because you decide to change doesn't mean people owe you their forgiveness or trust. That's something you have to earn, and it's not going to happen overnight. Actions speak louder than words, and if you're serious about making amends, then you need to prove it through what you do, not just what you say. And for those who think that stirring up drama, faking evidence, or playing the victim is the way to go, let me tell you something. It's not. Eventually people will see through the lies and the truth will come out. When that happens, you'll find yourselves alone, without friends, without allies, and without anyone willing to stand by your side. So, here's my final message to everyone watching this. It's time to stop the madness. If you've been involved in this drama, take a step back and think about the bigger picture. Is it really worth it? Is it worth losing friends, burning bridges, and ruining your reputation? The answer is no. And for those who are still clinging to this toxic behavior, let me warn you. This is your last chance to change. If you don't, the consequences will catch up to you. Whether it's losing the respect of your peers, facing legal action for things like doxing, or simply watching your world crumble around you, it's only a matter of time. Alright, so if anyone has to change their ways, even if you didn't mean to do what you did or you've done something fucked up, then all of those actions can be forgiven. But don't think for a second that people will ever owe you anything. Forgiveness is not a free pass, and trust is not something you can demand. At the end of the day, it's up to you to decide what kind of person you want to be. Do you want to keep living in this cycle of toxicity, or do you want to break free and start over? The choice is yours. But just know this, people are watching, and they will remember what you do next. It's time to move on. For your own sake, and for the sake of everyone else involved, let this be the end of it. Alright, let me be clear about something. For those of you who may not be forgiven at all in this situation, let me name names. Green Jay for doxing Alin, and Dark Blade and Jerry for impersonating him by creating fake screenshots. If you're watching this right now, then get your shit together. At the end of the day, you'll start to lose everything I've talked about in this video. The consequences will catch up to you, whether it's drama that escalates or your account's getting flagged. If you're also trying to be spastic narcissist or CSJW or anything that is against people's rights based on free speech and going up against China, Japan, Koran people, or whatever, then I'll assume that you guys are racists and totally pedophiles. Stay away from children and leave them alone. You guys had too many problems, and we already had taken care of. Good riddance. There is nothing you guys can do to fool everyone who's involved. We already had skills to verify the evidence against your shit, so stop hiding in shadows and get some help. This is exactly what happens when you make up shitty drama just to harass people online. Nobody wins, and in the end, you only hurt yourselves and those around you. If you don't want to end up in a position where everything you built comes crashing down, then stop. Get your shit together, grow up, and get a job. Maybe, just maybe, you should also consider getting serious help because the behavior you're displaying is unacceptable. And let me say this, if you can't handle criticism, then that's totally your problem. It's not an excuse to lash out, fake evidence, or dox people. That kind of behavior is never going to be trusted, and no one is going to take your side until you genuinely regret and own up to everything you've done. The sooner you realize this, the better off you'll be. Now, for everyone else watching, feel free to share this video around because people need to see what's been going on. And yeah, I know this video is way too long. I've put in countless hours working on this, moving files between Windows Cloud, my Surface, and my personal computer, while juggling work and everything else. I've put in the effort because I'm not going to stop until the truth is out there. If there's anything else that needs to be addressed, I'll cover it in a premiere live stream. In that stream, I'll dive deeper into more video clips and discussions, exposing voiceovers and other evidence of what people have done to Alin. But for now, I need to take a break from making videos. I'll think about when the right time is to come back and record a stream. If you want to join the new and improved Angry Birds community, a better version of the old ABE community, you're more than welcome. The link to the Discord server is in the description. We're working hard to make it a safe and enjoyable space for everyone. And I have a Discord ID from Jerry, so you can guys to report him in Discord team. It can be found also in the description below. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. I hope you'll share it across social media and YouTube so that more people can see what's really going on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.